aware. Zhou Yuchen replied, one is called Yuechen Gaming Company, and the other is Kunpeng Group. Cheng Tao exclaimed, Yuechen Gaming Company? That name sounds quite familiar. Du Yi excitedly interjected. Of course it does. The games we often play, such as Fruit Hero and Leisure Elimination, are developed by Yuechen Gaming Company. Additionally, Kunpeng Group's batteries nearly monopolized the global smartphone battery market. Even the international giant Jiaoxin Group has sought collaboration with them. Industry insiders estimate Kunpeng Group's annual revenue exceeds 10 billion. Cheng Tao, incredulous, asked, cousin, are you truly a billionaire? Cheng Yanchu and Zhou Yaling shared expressions of astonishment. They were aware that their nephew had prospered, assisting his uncle and aunt in purchasing homes and cars, but the extent of his wealth was beyond their imagination. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, what? Does it not seem plausible? Cheng Tao replied, it simply strikes me as quite unbelievable. Zhou Yuchen stated, it's merely a stroke of luck. How do you know so much about Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunpeng Group? Du Yi explained, I work at an investment firm, so I am quite familiar with both companies. However, I must resign tomorrow and seek new employment. Cheng Tao inquired, why is that? Du Yi replied, the deputy general manager at my investment firm is an old classmate of my mother's, and he is intent on matchmaking me with his son. I had intended to resign long ago, but my parents staunchly opposed it. Cheng Tao clasped Du Yi's hand, saying, I regret not having taken the exam for Yunhai sooner. Du Yi smiled, it is not too late now. Zhou Yuchen asked, what is your major? Du Yi responded, I am majoring in financial management, with a minor in accounting. Zhou Yuchen's interest piqued. Would you be interested in working in the finance department of my Kunpeng Group? As you just mentioned, the annual revenue of Kunpeng Group surpasses 10 billion. With such a substantial amount of money, I would feel uneasy without someone trustworthy managing it. Du Yi looked at Cheng Tao, asking, what do you think? Cheng Tao replied, I trust my cousin's company completely. However, the final decision lies with you. Du Yi contemplated for a moment and said, cousin, I would appreciate your guidance in the future. Zhou Yuchen grinned, I cannot make any promises, but I assure you that your salary will far exceed Taozi's, helping you establish your position within the family. Laughter erupted around the table. Su Xiaowan declared, all right, all matters resolved. Let us raise our glasses and toast to the happiness of Taozi and Yi. After the meal, the group took a leisurely stroll around the neighborhood. Zhou Yuchen pulled Cheng Tao aside to discuss the Zhou family matters. From Cheng Tao, he learned that the elder Zhou was in reasonable health. Zhou Qingjiang had retired from his position as deputy county chief, and Zhou Qingtian would retire from his official position in 2 years. Zhou Qingjiang's son, Zhou Yuming, was making a name for himself at the renowned Xiaoguan Communications Group in Pengcheng, rumored to be doing quite well. Zhou Qingtian had a son and a daughter. The son Zhou Yuquan was wayward, while the daughter Zhou Shui had secured a position at the municipal power supply company. Cheng Tao had long been aware from his parents about the incident in which Zhou Yuchen's name was removed from the family tree, and he cautiously asked, cousin, do you truly hold no forgiveness for the Zhou family? Zhou Yuchen chuckled, without love or hatred, what is there to forgive? To me, they are merely strangers. Cheng Tao queried, have you never contemplated revenge? Zhou Yuchen countered, revenge? Shall I send someone to beat them all up? In the end, my father would be the one to clean up the mess. Cheng Tao nodded, acknowledging the truth in that. Zhou Yuchen then asked about Du Yi's family. Learning that her father was the captain of the traffic police and her mother a deputy professor at Yunhai University of Technology, leaving him speechless. A government official and a respectable professor, their eyes seemingly fixated solely on wealth. Such a notion was utterly absurd. The following morning, Cheng Tao and Du Yi arrived at the marriage registration office, hand in hand, brimming with joy. To their utter astonishment, Du Yi's parents, Du Zhengyuan and Zhang Yuran, were already inside. Du Yi's expression shifted dramatically as she exclaimed, Dad, Mom, what are you doing here? Do not call us that. We have no daughter like you. Zhang Yuran retorted, her gaze icy and her countenance dark with fury. Du Zhengyuan coldly added, when we discovered your household registration book was missing, we knew you two intended to register secretly. You have always been obedient. I never imagined you would resort to such actions. Taking a deep breath, Du Yi declared firmly, I love Cheng Tao, and I intend to marry him. The person you introduced me to is not to my liking. Zhang Yuran snapped, be quiet. We are only looking out for your best interests. Tears welled in Du Yi's eyes as she replied, I cannot feel your concern. All I sense is that you regard me as a commodity, wishing to sell me to a wealthy suitor. Inside the marriage registration office, several couples had gathered, and upon hearing the argument between Du Yi and her parents, they turned their attention towards them. Dare I wager? This is undoubtedly a scene where the bride's parents are attempting to sabotage the couple for financial gain, one onlooker commented. Indeed, it is astonishing that such events still transpire. Humanity has truly lost its way, another murmured. Zhang Yuran pointed at Cheng Tao, her voice dripping with disdain, He is just a country bumpkin from a fifth-tier county. Marrying him will only bring you suffering. With his job at the forestry department, what future does he have? He will never afford even a modest home. Dui countered. My father also came from a small place. Why did you marry him then? Zhang Yuran replied. He is not comparable to your father. Dui retorted, why not? Cheng Tao interjected. Auntie, silence. Who are you calling auntie? Zhang Yuran shouted, pointing at him angrily. You have bewitched me with your sweet words. Let me make myself clear. If you dare to register today, you will have to step over my dead body. Wow, this woman is formidable. Judging by her attire, she appears to be an upper-class individual, yet her demeanor resembles that of a shrew. Someone whispered. What a lesson in not judging a book by its cover. I believe I recognize that person. He is the captain of the traffic police, another chimed in. With such decorum, he holds such a position? How absurd. As whispers filled the air, Du Jingyuan felt a flush of embarrassment rise to his cheeks. He pulled out his phone and called Cheng Yanxiu, arranging to meet at the hotel from the previous day. Cheng Tao, I have arranged for your parents to meet us. We must discuss some matters openly. Cheng Tao was about to agree when Du Yi grasped his hand, saying, let us secure our marriage certificate first. Zhang Yuran, incensed, exclaimed, are you trying to drive me to my grave? Wiping away her tears, Du Yi replied, a property of over 120 square meters plus 1 million in dowry. Do you think we can afford that? Dad, Mom, I am willing to endure hardships with Cheng Tao. I want to strive together to buy a car and a home. As for the son of your old classmate whom you favor, let anyone who wishes to marry him do so. I refuse. Moreover, once we have our marriage certificate, I will resign in the afternoon to spare you from any discomfort. Du Jingyuan exclaimed, are you out of your mind? Du Yi calmly stated, never have I been more lucid than I am now. My happiness is mine to grasp. I will not accept anyone's counsel. Furious, Du Jingyuan trembled, declaring, if you dare to marry him, we will sever all ties. Du Yi's expression steadied, her gaze unwavering as she stated, I am your daughter, bound by blood. Your words cannot sever that connection. Turning to the two security personnel approaching, she said, gentlemen, we wish to register our marriage. Please ensure my parents do not obstruct our right to exercise our freedom and love. The security guards, having already taken a disliking to Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran, stepped forward, stating, if you are not here to register your marriage, kindly refrain from disturbing others. Zhang Yuran protested, she is my daughter. One of the guards responded, first and foremost, she is an independent individual. Only then is she your daughter. A man in the front spoke up, ladies and gentlemen, I can let you proceed with your registration first. Yes, I am willing to step aside as well. We all are. How archaic is it that parents still try to arrange marriages in this day and age? The young crowd murmured in support of Cheng Tao and Du Yi. Grateful. Du Yi thanked them and pulled Cheng Tao towards the window. Du Jingyuan attempted to block their path, but was halted by the two security guards. Step aside, he roared. The guards replied coolly, we apologize, but please do not interrupt our staff's work. Seething with rage and frustration, Du Jingyuan realized he was powerless. Zhang Yuran, thinking quickly, pretended to faint. Du Jingyuan hurried to support her, saying, your mother has fainted. We must take her to the hospital. Du Yi's expression faltered momentarily, but she quickly approached Zhang Yuran and playfully tickled her armpit. Zhang Yuran could not withstand it, opening her eyes and reaching out to grab Du Yi, but she missed. Mom, stop pretending. No one can stop us from getting our certificate today. Du Yi ducked behind the security guards and continued with the registration process. Other couples, witnessing the spectacle, ceased to queue and surrounded Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran. What are you doing? Du Jingyuan shouted. Is it a problem for us to stand here? Exactly. We are here to register. We can stand wherever we please. It is none of your business. Realizing he had incurred the wrath of the crowd, and seeing Cheng Tao and Du Yi entering for their photo, he grabbed Zhang Yuran's hand and, while walking out, said, we are going to confront Cheng Yanxiu and his wife. With tears in her eyes, Zhang Yuran followed Du Jingyuan out. Meanwhile, Cheng Yanxiu, upon receiving the call, frowned. Zhou Yaling inquired, what is it? Cheng Yanxiu sighed. Yi's parents must have guessed that Taozi and Yi would secretly register their marriage. So they have been waiting at the office. Now Du Jingyuan wants to meet me at the hotel from yesterday. Zhou Yaling's brow furrowed. What shall we do? Zhou Qingjian chimed in. I will accompany you. Su Xiaowan rolled her eyes. What good will that do? Who knows you? I will call Xiao Chun. He is far more reliable in handling matters than you are. Zhou Yaling quickly intervened. Sister-in-law, will this disturb Xiao Chun at work? As Su Xiaowan made the call, she said, let me check. Just as Zhou Yuchen arrived at the Yuechen Game Company, he received a call from his grandmother. Without even entering, he made a turn towards Yinyu Hotel. Upon arrival, he called his aunt Zhou Yaling. Learning they were still 10 minutes away, he sat in his car for a moment. When Cheng Yanxiu and Zhou Yaling reached the hotel, he finally emerged from the vehicle. Xiao Chen, I appreciate your help this time. Aunt, please do not mention it. Where are Taozi and Yi? They should have arrived by now. Then let us proceed inside. Soon, the three entered a private room named the Yin Yuan Hall. Seated at the head of the table were two middle-aged individuals, a man with a square face exuding an air of authority, and a woman elegantly dressed, still possessing a captivating charm. Chapter 337. A complete resolution. Upon observing the couple, Zhou Yuqin felt a pang of confusion. The adage that one's appearance reflects their heart was perplexing. He could hardly associate this couple with the idea of selling their daughter. Beside him sat Tsingtao and Du Yi. As the three entered, the duo rose to their feet. On the table before them lay two red documents, unmistakably marriage certificates. Well done. Zhou Yuqin silently gave a thumbs up to the young couple. Cheng Yinshu and Zhou Yaling had evidently also noticed the marriage certificates. They exchanged glances, a flicker of joy evident in their eyes. Brother Du, sister-in-law, we. Before Cheng Yinshu could finish, Zhang Yuran pointed at Zhou Yuqin and asked, who is he? It seemed they were intent on seizing the initiative, vying for control of the situation. Zhou Yuqin, well-versed in the art of negotiation, decided to assert his presence. He approached Du Junyuan and Zhang Yuran, extended his hand, and with a smile said, I am Zhou Yuqin, Cheng Tao's cousin. Captain Du, Professor Zhang. It is a pleasure to meet you. With a piercing gaze that nevertheless retained composure, Zhou Yuqin's demeanor instantly alerted the couple to the fact that this young man was no ordinary individual. Du Junyuan instinctively stood and shook his hand, saying hello. Zhang Yuran, initially intending to use the opportunity to make her point, was momentarily taken aback, and she nodded at him with some reluctance. After the introductions, Zhou Yuqin took a seat beside Cheng Tao, picked up the marriage certificate, glanced at it, and said, Uncle Du, Aunt Zhang, I understand that you are quite upset about Cheng Tao and Yi obtaining their marriage certificate without your consent. I too have a daughter, and if she were to do the same in the future, I would likely exhibit even greater anger than you, as a father. Parental love for a child is inherently forward-thinking. Uncle, Aunt, I believe I have a keen eye. Upon entering, I could tell that you are not the type to despise the less fortunate. Given the gravity of the situation, I believe it is best for us to calm ourselves and lay all concerns on the table for discussion. Zhang Yuran adjusted her seating position and replied, do not flatter us. We do indeed value wealth. What sort of city is Yunhai? It is the city with the highest property prices, the highest cost of living. We do not look down on people from smaller towns, as we too came from humble beginnings. It is precisely because of this that we understand the hardship of establishing oneself in Yunhai. At this juncture, tears welled in Zhang Yuran's eyes as she continued. Our desire for a house stems from not wanting our daughter to toil for decades only to struggle with debt. Our request for $1 million in dowry is not for ourselves, but to help them with an additional 500,000 when they marry. If Cheng Tao cannot afford this, how can we entrust our daughter to him, allowing her to suffer? Zhou Yuqin nodded, saying, Aunt Zhang, I believe your words. However, from an objective standpoint, your demands are beyond the reach of not just my aunt's family, but over 99% of families in Yunhai. To be frank, upon hearing your conditions yesterday, I blurted out, is this marrying off a daughter or selling one? Only after learning that Yi has a brother did I instinctively think that your request for a dowry was meant to secure funds for his future marriage. It was only upon meeting today that I realized my perspective had been somewhat subjective. Du Junyuan sighed, saying, now that the marriage certificate has been issued, what good does it do to discuss this? Zhou Yuqin replied, it is indeed useful. At the very least, it can dispel misunderstandings and alleviate the tensions in our hearts. Uncle, Aunt, my aunt and uncle are honest people. Yi will not be mistreated upon marrying into the Cheng family. Zhou Yaling chimed in, that is assured. We will treat her as our own daughter. Zhou Yuqin continued, as for Cheng Tao, he has worked diligently to study and pass the civil service exam to come to Yunhai, which reflects his commitment to Yi. Zhang Yuran nodded, stating, we do not worry about their treatment of Yi. Our concern lies with the housing situation. Zhou Yuqin replied, we discussed the housing issue last night. Cheng Tao, please present the proposed solution to your uncle and aunt. Cheng Tao cleared his throat and recounted Zhou Yuqin's plan. Upon hearing it, Du Junyuan pondered. How can you be certain that housing prices will rise? What if they decline? What will happen to the young couple then? Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, it is simple. If, within 3 years, the price of the house they purchase does not appreciate by at least 50%, I will gift them the property without requiring a penny in return. This clause can be included in the agreement. A look of disbelief crossed Du Junyuan's face as he exclaimed, Cheng Tao is merely your cousin, not your brother. Why are you extending such generosity to him? Zhou Yuqin replied, my aunt and uncle have always treated me well. 5 years ago, due to my own folly and misplaced trust, I ended up in prison. Had it not been for my aunt and uncle's efforts, my parents might not have survived the ordeal. Additionally, Cheng Tao and I have shared a close bond since childhood. Therefore, whenever I can assist with matters concerning him, It is only natural for me to do so. Hearing Zhou Yuchen's words, Cheng Tao was deeply moved, while Zhou Yaling's eyes glistened with tears. Those who understand gratitude easily garner the goodwill of others. The expressions of Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran softened as they regarded Zhou Yuchen. Zhou Yuchen smiled and asked, Uncle Du and Zhang, do you have any further questions? Zhang Yuran replied, E's job was secured through the help of an old classmate of mine. We had hoped to match E with his son. Now, Mom. Du Yi interrupted, I have already decided to work at my cousin's company. Zhang Yuran was taken aback and quickly inquired, what company? What is the salary? Du Yi responded, it is Kunpeng Group, though I do not yet know the salary. Zhang Yuran furrowed her brows. Why have I never heard of this company? Du Jingyuan hesitated. I feel like I have heard it before. Zhou Yuchen assured her, Aunt Zhang, rest assured, I will not treat Yi poorly. By the way, what is your monthly salary at that investment company? Du Yi replied, my salary plus bonuses is around 10,000. Zhou Yuchen responded, the average salary for an entry-level employee in the finance department at Kunpeng Group is 12,000, with bonuses to be determined. It seems I need not intervene. Zhang Yuran expressed her dissatisfaction. We are family. Can't you promote Yi a bit? Zhou Yuchen shook his head. Company policies must be adhered to strictly. The only advantage Yi can expect is that her accomplishments will not be overlooked. Only with achievements can I rightfully promote her. Chapter 338. I know who you are, Bang. Du Jingyuan suddenly slammed his hand on the table, pointing at Zhou Yuchen, and exclaimed, I know who you are. Zhang Yuran furrowed her brows and asked, why are you so agitated? What do you know? Du Jingyuan retorted, let me tell you, Kunpeng Group is a company that develops and manufactures mobile phone batteries and chargers, partnering with nearly every mobile phone manufacturer worldwide. Some speculate that Kunpeng Group's profits will exceed billions, even on a global scale. It will claim its place in the telecommunications industry. Mr. Zhou, am I correct? Upon hearing the news, Zhang Yuran was momentarily rendered speechless, utterly astonished by the prospect of profits exceeding 100 billion, an unimaginable figure. Zhou Yuchen addressed Uncle Du, politely requesting him to simply call him Xiao Zhou. He acknowledged that he was indeed the founder of Kunpeng Group and, having enjoyed a stroke of luck, had achieved certain successes, which he considered not particularly noteworthy. Du Jingyuan sighed and replied, Xiao Zhou, I apologize for any inconvenience we may have caused you. Zhou Yuchen waved his hand dismissively, saying, you and Aunt Zhang are merely concerned for your daughter's future well-being. Allow me to assure you today that as long as I do not face bankruptcy, Xiao Tao and Yi will not encounter any financial troubles. With the promise from a billionaire directly, Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran had no further objections. In truth, had they known earlier of Cheng Tao's affluent cousin, they would have avoided such an awkward situation. With the matter settled, the next step was to navigate the ensuing attitudes. They needed to provide Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran a graceful exit from their embarrassment. Otherwise, the atmosphere would remain unbearably tense. Zhou Yuchen continued, Taozi, you and you should not have secretly registered your marriage without informing your parents. This is a great disrespect to both families. As a man, shouldn't you apologize to uncle and aunt? Cheng Tao stood up and approached Du Jingyuan and Zhang Yuran, bowing deeply. Just as he opened his mouth to speak, Zhou Yuchen playfully kicked the back of his knee, causing him to kneel. The onlookers gasped in surprise. Zhou Yuchen frowned. What kind of etiquette is that? Can you apologize to your elders while standing? Or do you believe your in-laws are unworthy of your kneeling? It is my fault. I should be the one kneeling. Cheng Tao was no fool and quickly grasped Zhou Yuchen's intent. Du Yi also stood and knelt beside Cheng Tao, creating a harmonious scene. Zhou Yuchen silently admired Du Yi for her intelligence and adaptability. After a few years of experience, she would undoubtedly be an invaluable ally in his endeavors. Cheng Tao addressed them, Uncle and Aunt, I coerced Yi into registering our marriage today. You may scold or reprimand me as you wish. But I hope you can understand the depth of my feelings for Yi. In front of my parents and you both, I, Cheng Tao, vow to love only Du Yi for the rest of my life. Please believe me. Du Yi added, Dad, Mom, I was wrong. Please do not be angry. Du Jingyuan sighed. You may rise. We are all family now. Upon hearing this, Zhou Yuchen seized the moment. Taozi, did you not hear Uncle Du? We are family now. You should promptly offer tea to your in-laws. Du Jingyuan was caught between laughter and tears, marveling at Zhou Yuchen's swiftness in handling the situation. Cheng Tao hurriedly stood, pouring tea for Du Jingyuan and presenting it with reverence. He then knelt to serve Zhang Yuran, saying, Mom, please enjoy this tea. Zhang Yuran accepted the cup and took a sip. Cheng Yanchun and Zhou Yaling exchanged relieved glances, their faces lit with smiles. Next, Du Yi followed Cheng Tao's lead, serving tea to Cheng Yanchun and Zhou Yaling. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, Uncle Du, Aunt Zhang, little aunt, little uncle, you have yet to offer the betrothal gifts. Do not forget to make amends later. Zhou Yaling joyfully replied, We shall not forget. Du Jingyuan suggested, in light of the marriage registration. Should we now discuss the wedding plans? Cheng Yanchun admitted, to be honest, I am not well versed in the customs around here in Yunhai. Zhou Yuqing interjected, Uncle Du. Little uncle, I believe it would be best to wait until the young couple has chosen a home before discussing the wedding details. Zhang Yuran nodded in agreement, yes. Let us finalize the house first, then deliberate on the wedding specifics. I know of a neighborhood, Longxing community, near Yunhai First Primary School. If we could secure a property there, it would surely appreciate in value. Du Jingyuan nudged her, do not speak out of turn. Zhou Yuqing suspected that Zhang Yuran was attempting to take advantage of the situation, suggesting the area was likely expensive. He found no fault in her intentions. A mother's desire to provide for her daughter was entirely understandable. Zhang Yuran brightened. Most units are around 160 square meters, and the average price is quite high, around 40 to 50,000. Zhou Yuqing nodded. Taozi, take EE to view it this afternoon. If it suits you both, proceed with the purchase. Cheng Tao found himself in a dilemma. Rejecting the offer would be disrespectful to Zhang Yuran, yet accepting it made him feel awkward. Du Yi noticed Cheng Tao's discomfort and said, Cousin, thank you for your kindness, but that house is too expensive. We cannot impose on you like this. Zhou Yuqing waved his hand. I will cover the cost of the house. You manage the renovations. When the value rises above 1.2 million, you can sell it as planned and repay me. By the way, what kind of car do you like? Du Yi was taken aback. Cousin, what do you mean? Zhou Yuqing laughed. I shall gift you a car as a token of congratulations for your marriage. Du Yi quickly protested. That is too much. Zhou Yuqing stood. What I say goes. It is settled. Uncle, aunt, little uncle, I have matters at my company to attend to, so I shall take my leave. Du Jingyuan responded. Then we shall head back as well. We can discuss the wedding later. What do you think, in-law? Cheng Yanchu nodded, agreed. Soon, everyone departed the private room. Since they needed to view houses in the afternoon, Du Yi did not return home with her parents. Chapter 339. An incident with IQ. After sending the two off, Zhou Yaling grasped Zhou Yuqing's hand, expressing her gratitude. Xiao Chun, we truly owe you for this. Without you, your uncle and I would have been at a loss. Zhou Yuqing smiled. Little aunt, there is no need to be so formal with me. Tao, make haste with the car and house arrangements. I might need to travel for business soon. Cheng Tao, feeling embarrassed, remarked, Cousin, I truly do not know what to say. Zhou Yuqing patted his shoulder. Then say nothing and focus on starting a family with Yi. All right, I'm off. Watching Zhou Yuqing's south car gradually drive away, Cheng Yanchun marveled. Look at how Xiao Chen handles matters. He truly exudes the aura of a magnate. Cheng Tao chuckled. Dad, cousin is already a business mogul, after all. Cheng Yanchun nodded. Indeed. Meanwhile, Du Jingyuan drove while discussing the day's events with Zhang Yuran. Zhou Yuqing is impressive. He resolved the issues while preserving our dignity. Truly a win-win. Zhang Yuran sighed. To be honest, I still feel a bit resentful. EE's beauty, poise, temperament, and abilities are impeccable. How did she end up with someone from such a small place? Du Jingyuan advised. You should refrain from adopting such an attitude toward Cheng Tao in the future, now that the two of them are married. If your relationship with Cheng Tao is not amicable, it will ultimately be EE who suffers. Zhang Yuran nodded and said, Rest assured, I understand. Old Du, are you truly not angry at all about Yi's behavior? Du Jingyuan smiled and replied, I was quite upset at first, but upon learning of Cheng Tao's connection with Zhou Yuqing, I felt rather fortunate. Do you know what Zhou Yuqing's identity is aside from being a billionaire? Zhang Yuran, displeased, said, Stop with the suspense and get to the point. Du Jingyuan continued. During a drinking session, I overheard our director mention that Zhou Yuqing's future father-in-law is Shin Chenggang, the sixth leader of the Yunhai city government. Really? Zhang Yuran's face lit up with surprise. That's wonderful. Du Jingyuan remarked. With such a formidable ally, Cheng Tao's future is boundless. At the very least, he will certainly surpass me. Zhang Yuran inquired. Will you also benefit from this? Du Jingyuan shook his head and said. Emotional ties diminish with each use. I am too old now, and there is no room for further advancement. Even if I shamelessly sought out Director Shun, I might only be able to attain one more promotion, which holds little value. Cheng Tao, however, as long as he is willing to strive and achieve results, will undoubtedly sail smoothly before becoming a deputy division chief. After that, it will depend on his capability and fortune. Zhang Yuran asked, What do you think of Cheng Tao? Du Jingyuan pondered for a moment and replied, He possesses a resolute character and a calm demeanor in handling matters. He is a promising candidate for politics. My dear, given the current situation, our daughter relies on Zhou Yuqing for financial gain, and our son-in-law depends on him for career advancement. You should understand how to treat Zhou Yuqing now, right? Zhang Yuran responded, I understand. The two of them have spent their lives in Yunhai without making a significant mark, largely due to their narrow perspective and tendency to look down on others. Although Zhou Yuqin could discern that Du Jinyuan and Zhang Yuran were not the type to be swayed by money, his overall assessment of them was not particularly high. Especially Zhang Yuran's annoying habit of being petty was quite off-putting. However, this had nothing to do with Zhou Yuqin. After leaving the hotel, Zhou Yuqin arrived at the Yuechen Gaming Company. Following the immense success of Escape from the Divine Temple, the company's influence in the global gaming industry has surged, leading to the slogan Yuechen's productions are guaranteed to be high quality, circulating online. This was a campaign orchestrated by the PR department, and its effectiveness brought significant benefits to the upcoming 3 games. Just as he entered the president's office, and before Zhou Yuqin could pour himself a cup of tea, Zheng Tong barged in. "Brother Chen, there's a major issue." Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow and asked, "Is there a problem with game operations?" Zheng Tong hastily replied, "It's not our issue, but rather with IQ Communications Group." Zhou Yuqin's interest peaked as he inquired, "What happened?" Zheng Tong explained, "The founder of IQ Communications Group, AI Guoke, has stepped down from his position as president and announced his intention to auction off his 16% share." Zhou Yuqin's eyes sparkled with intrigue. "Is there some internal conflict?" Zheng Tong continued, "According to an old friend of mine, AI Guoke's departure is related to mobile communication software. It turns out that 6 months ago, AI Guoke had a severe conflict with the shareholders and management of IQ Communications Group. He was determined to develop a mobile communication software app, believing that with the proliferation of smartphones, future communication would rely on mobile devices rather than computers. However, the majority of the shareholders and management at IQ Communications Group believed that having an IQ mobile app was sufficient and saw no need to start anew with another software. This situation paralleled that of Hello Communications Group, although the latter did not maintain its stance. AI Guoke, being proud and resolute, was confident in his judgment and, after failing to persuade others, brazenly exercised his authority as president to form a team for development. His actions faced resistance from shareholders and management, and even his old partners from the startup vehemently opposed him, deeming his approach utterly meaningless and detrimental to IQ's existing mobile software. Although AI Guoke was the founder of IQ Communications Group and held a veto power when raising funds, investors insisted on adding a clause to the agreement stating that if all investors collectively opposed, AI Guoke would have to comply unconditionally. Among these investors was a close friend of AI Guoke, Chang Yuquan. They were not only high school and college classmates, but also partners in entrepreneurship. It was precisely because of his presence that AI Guoke agreed to this clause. To AI Guoke's disbelief, Chang Yuquan cast a dissenting vote during the board meeting, leaving AI Guoke in shock. A fierce argument erupted in the office. What AI Guoke found most unacceptable was that all the mid-level and senior management within the company sided with Chang Yuquan, leaving him nearly isolated. The board investors were also highly supportive of Chang Yuquan. Any proposal from AI Guoke would only pass if Chang Yuquan consented, making AI Guoke merely a nominal president while all power shifted to his former good friend, Chang Yuquan. Having been proud all his life, AI Guoke could not tolerate such a situation, thus deciding to exit IQ Communications Group, sell his shares, and focus on establishing a new company dedicated to developing and operating mobile communication apps. Chapter 340. Negotiating with AI Guoke. The board was extremely frustrated with AI Guoke's decision to auction his shares, but found themselves powerless to intervene. After hearing AI Guoke's story, Zhou Yuqin's eyes gleamed with excitement. According to the previous plan, once the Xian app was successfully developed, Zhou Yuqin would require a reliable partner for joint operations. AI Guoke clearly emerged as an ideal candidate. First, he was the former president of IQ Communications Group and would undoubtedly have ways to leverage IQ software to promote Xian. Second, AI Guoke possessed capability, strength, and resources. With IQ Communications Group valued at 200 billion, his 16% stake equated to 32 billion, wealthier than Zhou Yuqin himself. Following their collaboration, external financing would be nearly unnecessary, ensuring the maximum potential for Xian's development. Contemplating this, Zhou Yuqin said, "Old Zheng, please conduct a thorough investigation into AI Guoke's situation. I may need to collaborate with him." Zheng Tong was momentarily taken aback. "Brother Chen, what could you possibly have in common to collaborate on?" Zhou Yuqin smiled. "It's not related to our Yuechen Gaming Company." Zheng Tong acknowledged and left without further inquiry. That afternoon, Zheng Tong returned with the latest news about AI Guoke. He was currently negotiating with IQ Communications Group regarding the sale of his shares. The shareholders of IQ Communications Group hoped to absorb AI Guoke's shares internally, but AI Guoke was unwilling, seemingly determined to show them a thing or two before he left. Zheng Tong, with his extensive social network, managed to obtain AI Guoke's contact information. Without hesitation, Zhou Yuqin dialed the number. "Hello, this is AI Guoke. Who am I speaking with?" A deep and steady voice resonated from the other end. "Hello, Mr. AI, this is Zhou Yuchen from Yuechen Gaming Company. Ah, it's President Zhou. What can I do for you? AI Guoke, already familiar with Zhou Yuchen, the rising star in both the online gaming and mobile communication industries, awaited his response. After the resounding success of Fruit Hero, relevant information about Zhou Yuchen had appeared on AI Guoke's desk. Subsequently, the consecutive triumphs of Angry Birds and casual puzzle games, along with the global popularity of Kunpeng batteries, left AI Guoke with a sense of the younger generation pushing the older one aside. He never anticipated that Zhou Yuchen would call him at such a critical moment. Did he intend to swallow the shares in his possession? That seemed improbable. Surely, he lacked the requisite strength. Zhou Yuchen stated, Mr. AI, I have heard that you have a keen interest in mobile communication apps, even forming a research team for their development. May I inquire whether you will continue this endeavor after departing from IQ Communication Group? AI Guoke's mind raced as he replied. Mr. Zhou, what do you mean? Zhou Yuchen candidly responded, Mr. AI, like you, I too hold great expectations for mobile communication software. While IQ software and Hello software are commendable, their operation is exceedingly inconvenient and does not align with future demands. To be frank, my team, under the guidance of an esteemed academician, is developing a mobile communication app. In less than 3 months, it will be ready for market launch. If you are interested, we could collaborate. In a villa in Pengcheng, AI Guoke was taken aback by Zhou Yuchen's words, nearly dropping his phone. His first thought was that someone had gotten ahead of him. Mr. Zhou, since you have developed the app, why seek my collaboration? I lack the time to manage a company, the resources for promotion, and sufficient capital. Do you wish for me to work for you? It is collaboration, not servitude. I can relinquish management rights. I only seek a share of the profits. Why should I collaborate with you? I could establish my own company. Mr. AI, I ask you one question. In your vision, will your mobile communication app integrate into daily life? For instance, facilitating payments when shopping? That is impossible. I can. After a moment of silence, AI Guoke replied, I believe we need to meet and discuss this further. Zhou Yuchen smiled. In a couple of days, I will need to visit Pengcheng. Prior to our meeting, please refrain from selling your shares in IQ Communication Group. AI Guoke raised an eyebrow. Are you looking to buy? Zhou Yuchen replied, once my mobile communication app emerges, IQ and Hello will undoubtedly face demise. Acquiring their shares would be akin to throwing money into the water. Mr. AI, for a mobile app's success, traffic is paramount. Over half of the population in Xia country possesses an IQ number. Linking IQ accounts to my app will cause traffic to skyrocket, making promotion exponentially more effective. Upon hearing this, AI Guoke felt a wave of dismay wash over him. His mobile communication app had yet to launch, while Zhou Yuchen was already contemplating traffic acquisition strategies. The disparity seemed insurmountable. After pondering for a moment, AI Guoke said, I will retain my shares. Let us meet in a couple of days. After ending the call, AI Guoke picked up his coffee and walked to the window, his brow furrowing deeply. The unfolding events had surpassed his expectations. 6 months prior, he had investigated and found that major tech companies had no plans for mobile communication apps. He never imagined Zhou Yuchen had been working on one and that it would soon be unveiled, which was undoubtedly a significant blow to AI Guoke. From the information Zhou Yuchen had disclosed, it appeared he already had a comprehensive plan for development, marketing, and operations. The reason for seeking his collaboration was that he lacked suitable promotional channels. Wait, this young man is trying to deceive me. AI Guoke suddenly realized something. Hastily placing his coffee on the windowsill and striding into his study. Upon reviewing Zhou Yuchen's materials, he discovered that Zhou had been in Sioux City 5 months ago and had only begun to rise 3 months prior. In such a short time, it was implausible for Zhou Yuchen to produce a competent mobile communication app, let alone one led by an academician. If it were that easy to recruit academicians, IQ's departments would be overflowing with them by now. With this thought, a smile crept onto AI Guoke's lips. In the afternoon, Cheng Tao and Du Yi strolled through Longxing Community and found a luxurious 166 square meter house, already beautifully decorated, priced at 9.6 million. During dinner at Su Xiuwan's home that evening, Zhou Yuchen inquired about the house. Cheng Tao stammered, hesitant to speak. Zhou Yuchen set down his chopsticks. Gazing intently at Cheng Tao, Xiao Tao, what is there to be shy about? You should know that whether it's 7 million or 10 million, it makes little difference to me. Cheng Tao replied, cousin, I just feel a bit embarrassed. That house costs 9.6 million. I truly cannot bring myself to ask for that. Zhou Yuchen said, enough with the pleasantries. After dinner, I will give you a check for 10 million. Sort out the car and house matters in the coming days. And remember, that Mercedes is a gift from us to E. Don't you dare embezzle it. Cousin not. Cheng Tao struggled to articulate, finally managing to say, thank you. Zhou Yaling expressed her gratitude. Xiao Chun, thank you. Without Zhou Yuchen's assistance, it would have taken Cheng Tao at least another 10 or 20 years to acquire a home in Yanhai, assuming housing prices remained stable. Now, With a car, a house, and a wife, they felt a profound sense of relief. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Auntie, we are family. There is no need for such formality. Moreover, this money must be repaid. Cheng Yinshu stated earnestly, Xiao Chun, we are not ignorant. If you were to purchase a house with this 10 million and sell it a few years later, you could easily make several million or even tens of millions. What you are doing now is equivalent to gifting Xiao Tao a fortune, relieving him of future burdens. This kindness cannot be repaid with mere words. Zhou Yuchen replied, Uncle, true friendship reveals itself in times of hardship. I assist Taozi because you and Auntie extended a helping hand during our family's most challenging times, aiding us through adversity. Such kindness is precious and cannot be bought with money or repaid with mere words. If it were left to those who would kick someone when they're down, not even 1,000 would have been granted to me. Upon hearing this, everyone understood who he was referring to. Seeing the bitterness in Zhou Yuchen's expression, Zhou Qingjian sighed inwardly. Zhou Yaling tentatively asked, Xiao Chun, it's been 5 years, can't you? That is impossible in this lifetime, perhaps in the next. Zhou Yuchen interrupted Zhou Yaling. As the ancients said, acknowledging one's mistakes and correcting them is a virtue. Yet, some errors inflict wounds that can never be healed. There is no opportunity for correction. My restraint in not retaliating against them is already a testament to my magnanimity. Were it anyone else, I would have shown no mercy. Zhou Yaling sighed. Indeed, their actions back then were quite excessive and deeply hurtful. Zhou Yuchen asked, Auntie, do you know why they treated me this way? At that time, I was on the verge of being imprisoned. Why did they feel the need to go further? Zhou Yaling glanced at Zhou Qingjian, who wore a troubled expression. Su Xiaowan's gaze turned icy as she questioned, Old Zhou, you are aware of the reason, are you not? Zhou Qingjian shook his head, replying, I do not know. I can only speculate. Su Xiaowan pressed, what speculation? After a moment of contemplation, Zhou Qingjian responded, before Xiao Chen's arrival, my elder brother had a chance to advance. Su Xiaowan turned to Zhou Yaling, asking, Yaling, is this the reason? Zhou Yaling nodded, stating, at that time, it was a critical period for my brother to transition from deputy section chief to section chief. There were 3 or 4 competitors, all quite formidable. Xiao Chen is, after all, my brother's own nephew, which would inevitably cast a negative shadow, to prevent leaving their opponents with any leverage. My sister-in-law and second sister-in-law urged the old man to erase Xiao Chun from the family tree. Su Xiaowan inquired, what does this have to do with the second sister-in-law? Zhou Yaling explained, once my brother ascended, it would pave the way for the second brother to rise from a regular section-level position to a deputy section chief. Oh, I see, Su Xiaowan exclaimed, her tears beginning to fall as she gritted her teeth, saying, to attain power, they would cast their own nephew into the depths of hell. Well done, indeed. Shun Jingyun, who had remained silent, wore a face of indignation. Who could have anticipated that those bound by blood would resort to such actions for personal advancement? The most tragic part was that Zhou Yuchen's situation might not even impact them significantly. It was merely a slender possibility. One could only imagine the heartlessness of it all. Zhou Qingjian's expression darkened further. He had entertained suspicions about the events of that year, but had never dared to confront them. Now that his speculations had been validated, self-deception was no longer an option. Ironically, it was Zhou Yuchen who remained unperturbed, speaking softly, the cost outweighs the benefits. It is foolishness incarnate. Cheng Yinshu added, indeed, it is quite foolish. My elder brother and second brother initially had opportunities to advance, yet once this matter reached the county, everyone distanced themselves from them. Who would dare associate with those who disregard even their blood relatives? In the end, my elder brother retired from his deputy section chief position. Although the second brother holds a section-level post, he manages the archives with no real power. In another year, he too will retire. Su Xiaowan retorted, they deserve it. Zhou Yaling remarked, the old man regrets his choices, but unfortunately, there is no remedy for regret in this world. Seeing their ruthless nature, Yinshu and I dare not draw too close. We only visit during holidays, providing the old man with 1,000 yuan monthly. After all, Taozi bears the Cheng surname. Who knows if they would sacrifice him to achieve some ulterior motive? Su Xiaowan shot Zhou Qingjian a glance, asking, how much do you send to the old man each month? Zhou Qingjian replied, 1,200. It has recently increased to 2,000. Su Xiaowan sneered. Then revert it back to 1,002. I absolutely will not permit you to use our son's money to honor those who have wronged him. Zhou Qingjian felt disheartened, stating, I have always used my own salary. Su Xiaowan scoffed, it is only because Xiao Chun has succeeded in his ventures. Otherwise, where would you find the means to be such a dutiful son? Zhou Qingjian's countenance turned ashen, yet he refrained from retorting, for he knew she spoke the truth. If Zhou Yuchen required funds for marriage or housing, forget about honoring the old man. He would be unable to afford even a bathroom in a modest apartment. Not to mention, they have a daughter as well. Sensing the tension escalating, Zhou Yuqin quickly intervened. Mom, let's keep the issues separate. The old man has given life to my father. It is only right for him to honor his father. However, 2,000 is indeed excessive. The old man has 3 sons and 1 daughter. If each receives 1,000, that totals 4,000, which, combined with his pension, surpasses the income of an average family. Su Xiaowan retorted, believe it or not, once the old man falls ill and is hospitalized, he will certainly be unable to produce a single penny. Zhou Yuqin waved his hand dismissively. Mom, enough. I will never engage with them again in this lifetime. Su Xiaowan nodded. Well, out of sight, out of mind. Chapter 342. A gentleman values wealth, acquired through integrity. After dinner, Zhou Yuqin entered his study, opened his computer, and accessed his email. He retrieved the loan agreement he had prepared long ago, filling in the amount of 960,000, and printed 2 copies. After signing both, he took the agreement to the living room for Cheng Tao's signature. Once the agreement was finalized, Zhou Yuqin produced a blank check for 10 million and handed it to Cheng Tao. Cheng Tao accepted the check, saying, thank you, cousin. I will repay you as soon as possible. Zhou Yuqin smiled, no rush. Let us assess the situation once property prices have doubled. Your current task is to focus on your work. If you need anything, do not hesitate to ask me. Cheng Tao nodded, I understand. After chatting for a while, Cheng Tao received a call from Du Yi and rushed off to the cinema. As soon as Cheng Tao left, Zhou Yuqin handed the loan agreement to Cheng Yanqiu. Cheng Yanqiu, astonished, asked, Xiao Chun, what are you doing? Zhou Yuqin replied with a smile, Uncle, I never intended for Xiao Tao to repay the money. It was merely to provide him with motivation. Cheng Yanqiu stood up abruptly, exclaiming, that is absolutely unacceptable. We cannot accept a property worth 960,000. Zhou Yaling was equally alarmed, stating, Xiao Chun, we appreciate your goodwill, but this 960,000 must be repaid. It is a matter of principle. Seeing their agitation, Zhou Yuqin chuckled, a house is just a house. Consider it a gift for Xiao Tao. Zhou Yaling responded firmly, that is absolutely out of the question. Zhou Yuqin shrugged. Very well. I shall keep the agreement for now and discuss it later. After all, Du Yi would soon be working at Kunpeng Group, and he had countless ways to provide her with benefits. Exiting his parents' home, Zhou Yuqin and Xin Jingyan took little Yaya for a stroll in the neighborhood. As usual, little Yaya clamored to go on the slide. Zhou Yuqin, of course, did not refuse and brought her to the small square. In the square, 4 or 5 children were playing on the slide. Before long, little Yaya blended in with them, laughter ringing out intermittently. Darling, you must have heard the saying, a grain of rice can foster enmity, while a grain of millet can foster gratitude, right? Xin Jingyan looked towards Zhou Yuqin and said. Zhou Yuqin smiled. I was merely being polite. I never truly intended to present the loan agreement to my aunt and uncle. What if they accepted? They won't, he assured. Aunt and uncle are inherently good-natured and simple. How could they possibly accept 960,000 without reason? If they did, it would indicate they are motivated by greed. And I would ensure my parents keep their distance from them. Xin Jingyan shot him a glance. Are you trying to test them? Zhou Yuqin shook his head. I had no such intention. At that moment, I genuinely wished to gift the property to Taozi. Xin Jingyan replied, if I were in your position, I would also refuse such a grand gift. Zhou Yuqin laughed. Thus, you both can be regarded as gentlemen. A gentleman cherishes wealth, acquiring it through rightful means. My dear wife, do you know? I am genuinely fortunate. Regardless of whether it is my uncle's or my aunt's family, they are all such gentlemen. Although Shiyan can be a bit reckless, he primarily seeks to prove his worth through wealth. If you were to ask him to engage in immoral or illegal activities for money, he would certainly refuse. Unlike the 2 members of the Zhou family, they are hardly human. Shun Jingyan remarked, once Taozi gets married, you will inevitably encounter them. Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, I will not attend the daytime wedding ceremony. As for the evening banquet, they will surely occupy a private room, while we can stay in the hall with Ziyu and catch a glimpse of the wedding proceedings. Shun Jingyan inquired, what about our wedding? Zhou Yuqin scoffed, do you really think I would invite them? Don't be ridiculous. Shin Jingyan commented, Ziyou's grandfather might be quite saddened. Zhou Yuqin stated, my father is simply being overly compassionate. If our son were treated in such a manner, I wouldn't merely withhold financial support. I would ensure they faced severe consequences. I intentionally brought this up today to make it clear to my father that he should never harbor illusions of reconciliation between us and them. Whenever you see them in the future, treat them as strangers. There's no need to be courteous. Shin Jingyan nodded, saying, I understand. Zhou Yuqin then asked, Dear, how many copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone have been sold? Shin Jingyun's eyes lit up as she replied, over 150,000 copies. Your speculation was correct. A representative from the Mike Publishing Group approached me about the release of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in other Western countries. They are proposing a public funding approach with a maximum royalty of 12%. The 12% royalty refers to 12% of the book sale price. For instance, if Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is priced at 115, Shun Jingyan would earn approximately 14 for each copy sold. In contrast, the current 70% is calculated after deducting all costs, allowing her to earn 25 per copy, nearly double. Moreover, the greater the sales, the higher the profit. It would have been acceptable if the Mike Publishing Group had agreed to public funding from the outset. Now that the book is so immensely popular, their offer feels like an insult to Shun Jingyun's intelligence. Zhou Yuchen asked, "How did you respond?" Shun Jingyun replied, "I outright declined and informed them that I would only pursue self-funding for publication. If Mike Publishing Group is unwilling to collaborate, I will partner with other publishers for my subsequent 7 novels." "Well done," Zhou Yuchen praised, raising his thumb. What was their reaction? Shun Jingyan said, "They wish to continue collaborating under the original terms." Zhou Yuchen shook his head. "They are being too hasty. Since the Mike Publishing Group is trying to pull such a stunt, you should firmly assert your position and not sign any contracts for the time being. Wait until they send senior executives to Yunhai to negotiate with you, and then you can agree under favorable conditions. These people from the Lighthouse Nation are like immature children. They need both sweet rewards and strict discipline to understand your strength. Only then will they behave." Shun Jingyun pursed her lips, saying helplessly, "I wish I had consulted you earlier. I hadn't thought it through." Zhou Yuchen laughed. "Next time they approach you like this, use this method to assert yourself and propose a 75% profit share. If they disagree, tell them to leave." Shun Jingyun sighed. "It seems I truly am not suited for business. You should handle communications with them from now on." Chapter 343. First encounter with Aigu Ku 5 days later. Zhou Yuchen appeared at a tea house in Pingcheng to meet Aigu Ku. The timing of this meeting was entirely intentional on Zhou Yuchen's part. In fact, he had been in Pingcheng for 3 days, spending 2 days resolving housing matters, and had then taken a day to explore the city before contacting Aigu Ku for their meeting. Aigu Ku, at the age of 41, possessed an upright stature and handsome features, devoid of the typical greasiness associated with middle age. Despite no longer being youthful, his piercing eyes exuded a formidable presence and aggressive energy. "Mr. Zhou, I heard that someone in Pingcheng spent over 4 billion to purchase 32 villas. If I am not mistaken, this must be your doing, correct?" Zhou Yuchen lifted his teacup, took a sip, and smiled. "Indeed. It seems Mr. Zhou has great confidence in the real estate market." "Absolutely. Not only in Pingcheng, but I have also acquired properties worth over 80 billion in Yunhai and Yindu. They have now moved to Guangqing to spend the last few billion." "How much capital have you deployed?" 150 billion, targeting a 70% return. "Aigu, do you believe I can recoup it?" "I am no oracle, and it is challenging to predict the real estate market accurately. Since you are bold enough to undertake this venture, you must possess considerable confidence." On paper, Zhou Yuchen appeared quite young, at only 25 years of age. However, upon meeting him, Aigu Ku felt as if he were conversing with someone of a similar age, even sensing a greater level of composure in Zhou Yuchen, compelling Aigu Ku to remain fully alert. Zhou Yuchen shrugged. Success would be ideal, but failure is inconsequential. "Aigu, I have great admiration for your choices. I firmly believe that the future belongs to those who control traffic. Whoever unlocks the secrets of traffic will ascend to the status of a world-class tycoon." "And where does traffic reside?" "Previously, it was on computers. Now and in the future, it will be on mobile devices." Aigu Ku nodded in agreement. "My assessment aligns perfectly with yours, which is why I had no choice but to withdraw from the IQ Communications Group." Zhou Yuchen smiled. "Whether you were compelled to exit IQ or chose to leave voluntarily will depend on the success of future mobile communication app software. To be frank, IQ Communications Group's success on the PC platform has stifled their courage to innovate. For a tech company, a lack of innovation signifies a loss of the future, and obsolescence is merely a matter of time." Aigu Ku asked, "Mr. Zhou, can you truly develop an entirely new mobile communication app within 3 months?" Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "Aigu, you are astute. With my team's current capabilities, 3 months is indeed unfeasible. The fastest we could manage is 6 months. However, if you were to collaborate with your team, 3 months may not be out of reach." Aigu Ku appeared somewhat embarrassed. "Did they refuse to work with me?" Zhou Yuchen was taken aback. "Wasn't it said that your team had already begun developing the mobile communication software app?" Aigu Ku sighed, saying helplessly, "They only worked for half a month before being forced to cease." Zhou Yuchen remained silent for a moment, then stated, "Aigu, since you are being so candid, I will reciprocate in kind." He retrieved a printed proposal from his briefcase and handed it to Aigu Ku. "You are a programmer by trade. You should be able to comprehend this." Aigu Ku took the 50-page proposal for the McZin app and was taken aback by the detailed research and development ideas contained within. His expression changing as he remarked, "Mr. Zhou, do you trust me too much?" Everyone knows that allowing a potential competitor to view a product's planning and ideas is akin to courting disaster. Zhou Yuchen's actions could only be described as foolish. Aigu. This proposal merely contains conventional content. The true essence has not been revealed. What I am planning for this app far exceeds ordinary imagination. Then I shall take my time to study it. Aigu spent over half an hour engrossed in the proposal. Upon reaching the end, he discovered a lengthy list of features, including social networking, public platforms, voice memos, mix-in mini programs, payment functions, loan capabilities, corporate WeChat functions, gaming platform features, and so forth. Aigu felt utterly overwhelmed. He had previously devised an app proposal, but in comparison to Zhou Yuchen's mix-in, it fell woefully short. A profound sense of disappointment engulfed Aigu's heart. He returned the mix-in app proposal to Zhou Yuchen, his expression more dismal than tears, and asked, "Mr. Zhou, is it truly feasible?" Zhou Yuchen replied with a smile, "Certainly. There are no technical issues. The crux lies in the attitudes of the government and the banks. As long as mix-in is a domestic enterprise in Xia country, I believe they will undoubtedly provide their support." Aigu questioned, "According to your projections, this software's annual revenue will surpass hundreds of billions, even reaching 1,000 billion. Since you are already so confident, why seek my assistance?" Zhou Yuchen shrugged, stating, "As I have mentioned, I lack the time and energy to manage the operations of the mix-in app." Aigu struggled to comprehend Zhou Yuchen's intentions, asking, "What are your plans?" Without hesitation, Zhou Yuchen declared, "The research and manufacturing of chips. I aim to create the world's most exceptional chips and the finest lithography machines, assisting our nation in breaking the technological blockade imposed by the Western world." Pausing briefly, Zhou Yuchen added, a hint of embarrassment in his tone, "Does that sound overly ambitious?" Aigu's gaze toward Zhou Yuchen shifted, filled with a sudden surge of respect, and he remarked, "Mr. Zhou, do you realize how challenging it is to develop chips and lithography machines?" "Of course," Zhou Yuchen replied. "Chip development does not intimidate me. The true challenge lies in the lithography machine. It is the pinnacle of industrial technology. Not only individuals, but even a nation's collective efforts might not suffice. Yet I wish to attempt it. To be frank, I have been researching lithography machines and chips for many years. It is no exaggeration to say that while another might emerge to create a mobile communication app without me, in the realm of chips and lithography machines, I doubt anyone will emerge within the next decade." Aigu sighed, "Mr. Zhou, compared to you, I feel utterly inadequate." Zhou Yuchen chuckled, "I am merely boasting. Aigu, my mix-in app development team is at Yindu University. Your experience, connections, resources, and management skills are what I lack. So the future communications company will undoubtedly be under your stewardship, while I will merely reap the dividends." Transitioning to the core of the matter, Aigu's demeanor grew serious as he asked, "Mr. Zhou, how will the shares be distributed?" Zhou Yuchen explained, "It's quite simple. My proposal and technical plan will account for 20% of the shares, and we will each invest 25 billion. Ultimately, I will hold 60%, and you will hold 40. Aigu raised an eyebrow. "Mr. Zhou, by your calculations, your proposal and technical plan equate to 20%, which amounts to 125 billion. He paused, not continuing further. Zhou Yuchen understood Aigu's implication, which was essentially that his proposal did not warrant that valuation. He smiled and countered, "Aigu, let us not discuss other matters. Just the patent for the payment feature alone could easily earn me 10 billion. Without my technical support, no mobile communication software app could possibly implement a payment function. Can you envision a future where we shop at the market without cash, merely using our phones for payment?" In the previous life, QR codes were invented in the 1990s by a Japanese individual who, regrettably, deemed it lacking in potential and relinquished the patent, only for it to be claimed by a citizen of Xia country a decade later. This individual, solely through the patent authorization for QR codes, amassed over 10 billion, an extraordinary stroke of luck. Originally, Zhou Yuchen intended to develop QR codes after finalizing the app, but his impatience grew. Once an agreement with Aigu was reached, he would swiftly assemble a research team to develop the QR code and apply for the patent. After a moment of silence, Aigu inquired, "What about management rights?" Zhou Yuchen replied with a grin, "Those will be yours, of course. I will only assign a few financial personnel to manage the accounts, without interfering in daily operations and management. To be candid, even if you entrusted me with management, I lack the time for it. Should you still doubt my intentions, once the mix-in app achieves success, I can sell you a portion of my shares, making you the primary shareholder of mix-in. This can be stipulated in our agreement." Upon hearing this, Aigu's serious expression visibly relaxed, and he asked, "What do I need to do?" Zhou Yuchen instructed, "Establish a communications company as soon as possible. While the IQ board is seeking your assistance, forge a partnership with IQ, as the future of mix-in will heavily rely on their promotional support." Aigu nodded in understanding. Zhou Yuchen continued, "I have one more condition. Should mix-in go public in the future, I do not wish for any foreign entities to appear on the board." Aigu chuckled, I didn't realize you were so passionate. Zhou Yuqin responded earnestly. It's not mere passion. It's imperative that the data of Xia citizens does not fall into the hands of foreign consortiums. Aigu, the future belongs to artificial intelligence and big data. While we cannot control other companies, we must safeguard the data within our own. Aiguku replied seriously, understood. Zhou Yuqin stated, once we establish the communications company, I will present you with a development plan for the next decade. The execution and management will be at your discretion. Aiguku lifted his teacup, declaring, Mr. Zhou, may our collaboration be fruitful. Zhou Yuqin raised his cup in agreement to a prosperous partnership. Aiguku's efficiency was remarkable. Within merely 3 days, the Mixin Communications Company was established and a cooperation agreement was signed with Zhou Yuqin. During this time, Zhou Yuqin did not return to Yunhai but remained at the hotel, drafting the project plan for the Mixin app, guided by the trajectory of its development from his previous life. Though the technological sectors of the two worlds differed somewhat, they were largely similar. Following Zhou Yuqin's meticulously crafted plan step by step would make success almost inevitable. The establishment of the Mixin Communications Company sent shockwaves through the tech scene in Pengcheng. With a 50 billion investment, Zhou Yuqin, the rising star in the communications industry, and Aigu Ku, the seasoned manager, everyone recognized that they were poised for a bold venture. After signing the cooperation agreement, Zhou Yuqin delivered his 10-year project development plan for the Mixin software app to Aigu Ku. Upon reviewing it, Aigu Ku was awestruck by Zhou Yuqin's talent. Everything he had envisioned, and even what he had not, was encapsulated within, accompanied by practical and feasible research strategies. Remarkably impressive. Was this even human? In the office of the president of Mixin Communications Company, Aigu Ku gazed at Zhou Yuqin with disbelief. Zhou Yuqin took a sip of coffee and remarked, Aigu, I prefer women, not men. Please refrain from looking at me with such adoring eyes. Aigu Ku found Zhou Yuqin's words amusing, responding, I also don't fancy men. But I find myself somewhat fond of you now. This development plan is priceless, worth at least 20 billion. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. So, are you suggesting I am at a disadvantage? Shall we reconsider the distribution of shares? Aigu Ku quickly replied, perhaps not. After all, my contributions are significant as well. Mr. Zhou, the QR code is the cornerstone of the entire plan. When can you develop it? Zhou Yuqin replied, I have already provided a clear direction for its development. The remaining tasks are not my concern. After all, you are the manager of the company. As I have stated, I will not involve myself in company affairs. Aiguo Chao stated, very well. Our foremost task is to develop the QR code and swiftly secure a technology patent on a global scale. Zhou Yuqin nodded in agreement, remarking, I have no objections. Your efficiency in handling matters is truly impressive, CEO AI. In just 3 days, you not only completed the company registration but also secured such a splendid office space. Remarkable. Aiguo Chao chuckled. I rented this place the very day after I decided to leave IQ Communications Group, preparing to establish a telecommunications company entirely of my own. Now, as we collaborate to create Mixin, it proves to be quite fortuitous. With your development plan, I am brimming with confidence. Give me 3 years, and I assure you that the Mixin app will become the premier instant messaging software in Xia country. Zhou Yuqin responded, I believe in your capabilities. Have you resolved the negotiation issues with IQ Holdings? Aiguo Chao's eyes sparkled with determination as he replied, I have scheduled a meeting with Chang Yukuan this afternoon. Zhou Yuqin inquired, do you harbor any resentment towards him, CEO AI? Aiguo Chao fell silent for a moment before sighing. To say I feel no resentment would be untrue. Yet it has not escalated to the point of irreconcilable enmity. From Chang Yukuan's perspective, his choice was not misguided. Zhou Yuqin nodded, advising, I hope you can maintain a clear perspective regarding your relationship with IQ Communications Group, devoid of emotional bias. From an outsider's viewpoint, neither you nor Chang Yukuan is in the wrong. Rather, there exists a profound divergence in the company's developmental philosophies. Your departure is not a sign of failure, but rather an indication that IQ Communications, led by Chang Yukuan, can no longer keep pace with your innovative vision. The emergence of Mixin will inevitably bring an end to the communication hegemony of IQ and Hello. At that point, it may not be you who resents Chang Yukuan, but rather he who resents you. Chapter 345. The invitation from Ren Zhuzhou Aigua. Chao displayed a peculiar expression, saying, hearing you say this, I find myself feeling a bit sorry for him. Zhou Yuqin shrugged. You can feel sorry for him in 3 years if you wish. CEO AI. IQ Communications Group's stock price is currently quite favorable. It would be wise to act swiftly. Delays may lead to significant losses. Aiguo Chao retrieved a document from his drawer and handed it to Zhou Yuqin, saying, this is an agreement I had drafted with a few lawyers regarding a joint promotion of the future Mixin mobile communication app with IQ. Please review it carefully. My intention is that once they sign this agreement, I will sell my shares in IQ at market price to the numerous shareholders on the board. Zhou Yuchen understood the significance of this agreement for the future promotion of the McZin app and began to study it diligently. After a thorough examination lasting half an hour, he raised his head and remarked, "The agreement is quite comprehensive, but the penalty for breach seems rather low." Ai Guoqiao, taken aback, asked, "Isn't a penalty of 3 billion sufficient?" Zhou Yuchen replied, "Certainly not. If I were the president of IQ Communications Group and saw the McZin app on the verge of surpassing my own, I would willingly accept a penalty of 300 billion. Worst case scenario, I could engage in litigation with you, dragging it out for a year or two, effectively sabotaging the promotion partnership. Therefore, to be prudent, I suggest increasing the penalty to 200 billion. Ai Guoqiao laughed. "Mr. Zhou, you may not be aware of the disposition of those shareholders at IQ Communications. Forcing them to pay 3 billion in penalties would be akin to executing them. Nonetheless, your point is valid. We cannot afford to waste time with them. I will print a revised agreement with the penalty set at 200 billion. Zhou Yuchen extended his hand, wishing him success in the afternoon negotiations. Ai Guoqiao shook his hand, expressing gratitude. Just then, Zhou Yuchen's phone rang. Upon checking, he saw it was a call from Rin Jiuzhou of Xiaoguang Communications Group. Zhou Yuchen pressed the answer button. "Hello, Mr. Rin. Mr. Zhou, I hear you are in Pengcheng?" "Indeed. I am collaborating with CEO AI to establish a telecommunications company and have been in Pengcheng for the past few days. Is there something you need, Mr. Rin? We are holding a launch event for our first generation of smartphones tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. I wonder if you would be able to attend?" Zhou Yuchen smiled. "If you personally extend the invitation, I shall make time, regardless of my schedule." Rin Jiuzhou laughed heartily. "Thank you for accommodating me. Is CEO AI by your side?" Zhou Yuchen activated the speakerphone, replying, "Yes, he is here and can hear you." Rin Jiuzhou addressed Ai Guoqiao. "Hello, CEO AI. I would like to invite you to attend tomorrow's smartphone launch. Will you be available?" Ai Guoqiao responded, "Mr. Rin, I am no longer the president of IQ Communications Group." Rin Jiuzhou replied, "And what of it? I am aware of the ideological conflict between you and the IQ board. If I were in your position, I would have made the same choice, for innovation is the lifeblood of a technology company. Mr. Zhou is a young entrepreneur with a knack for creating miracles. His partnership with you in McZin Communications Group clearly indicates his foresight in the future of mobile communications. The two of you form a formidable alliance. And I believe that in no more than 3 years, McZin Communications Group will undoubtedly achieve success." This compliment not only praised Ai Guoqiao's visionary insight and innovative ideas, but also acknowledged Zhou Yuchen, leaving both men feeling quite pleased. Indeed, experience speaks volumes. Zhou Yuchen marveled inwardly. Ai Guoqiao chuckled, "Mr. Ren, your words resonate deeply with me. I will attend the launch with Mr. Zhou and wish your first generation of smartphones immense success, becoming a true beacon of Xia country. Thank you. We wholeheartedly welcome both of you." After concluding the call, Ai Guoqiao's smile faded, and he said pensively, "Mr. Zhou, do you know who I admire most in all of Xia country?" Zhou Yuchen replied with a smile. "Isn't it obvious? It must be Mr. Ren." Ai Guoqiao nodded. The Xiaoguang Communications Group has not gone public, remaining low-key, with only a few core individuals privy to the annual financial reports. Yet, no one dares to underestimate it. As far as I know, Xiaoguang possesses over 8,000 technical personnel, with annual R&D expenditures nearing 100 billion. It seems to me that Mr. Rin is playing a grand game. Hearing Ai Guoqiao's words, Zhou Yuchen recalled the former Rin Jiuzhou, stating, "Regardless of what major moves Xiaoguang Communications is making, as long as they do not conflict with us and contribute positively to our nation's technological advancement, we should extend our support." Ai Guoqiao looked astonished, remarking, "Your perspective mirrors Mr. Ren's closely. During our conversations, he often discusses the development of national technology. If you two were to meet, I believe the discussion would be highly engaging." Zhou Yuchen shrugged. "Perhaps." Ai Guoqiao inquired, "Mr. Zhou, do you have any plans for this afternoon?" Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "You aren't intending to take me to negotiate with IQ Communications Group, are you?" Ai Guoqiao replied, "That is indeed my intention. I currently find myself in a position akin to that of a defeated warrior, needing your support as a rising star in the communications field to bolster my confidence." Zhou Yuchen laughed heartily. "Then we must ensure we are well fed and content before proceeding." Ai Guoqiao smiled. "No problem. I shall treat you to an authentic Chaozhou meal." At 2:30 in the afternoon, Ai Guoqiao and Zhou Yuchen, accompanied by 3 future executives of McZin Communications Group, entered IQ Communications Group. These 3 executives were all former members of IQ Communications Group, and upon learning of Ai Guoqiao's intention to establish a new company, they promptly submitted their resignation letters without hesitation. The most amusing aspect is that it was Igor who approved their resignations. By the way, the current president and CEO of the McZin Communications Group is Zhou Yuchen, not Igor. It is only when Igor genuinely steps down from his role as the president of IQ Communications that he can succeed Zhou Yuchen. As the group passed through, The employees of IQ Communications greeted Igor with utmost respect, to which he responded with a smile. Upon entering the conference room, they found 6 representatives from the board of IQ Communications already seated. In the central position sat Chang Yuquan, who was a year younger than Igor but appeared 4 to 5 years older, sporting a square face and somewhat tanned skin, resembling a fitness enthusiast. Chapter 346. Negotiating with IQ Communications. As soon as Igor entered, Chang Yuquan promptly stood up with the others. "Old Chang, I have already withdrawn from the company, so there is no need for such formalities," Igor remarked. Chang Yuquan solemnly replied, "Mr. AI, regardless of what happens in the future, you will always be the founder of IQ Communications Group and forever our elder brother." Igor chuckled, "Your words bring tears to my eyes." Chang Yuquan continued, "This is our heartfelt sentiment." Igor gazed at him deeply and said, "All right, I appreciate your sincerity. Please, everyone, take your seats." Once Igor was seated, Chang Yuquan and the others followed suit, showing him due respect. Igor initiated the conversation, stating, "Before we begin negotiations, allow me to introduce Mr. Zhou Yuchen, the founder of Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group, who is now my partner." "Hello, everyone," Zhou Yuchen greeted the group as he stood. Chang Yuquan remarked, "I've heard that Mr. Zhou is only 25 years old, and seeing him in person, he appears even younger than I had imagined. Compared to you, we are aging and may soon be left behind." Zhou Yuchen laughed. "Mr. Chang, you are too modest. Youth often signifies inexperience and impulsiveness, compared to you esteemed predecessors. I have much to learn. As the saying goes, the waves behind drive on the waves ahead. The former may not necessarily be washed away on the shore, but rather rise higher, creating tumultuous seas. I firmly believe that both Mr. AI and Mr. Chang belong to the latter." Goodness, such flattery. Chang Yuquan immediately categorized Zhou Yuchen among the challenging individuals. "Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Zhou." After a few exchanges of pleasantries, Igor cleared his throat and said, "Recently, Mr. Zhou discussed the incident involving IQ Communications with me. His outsider perspective prompted me to alter my viewpoint, leading to today's negotiations." Chang Yuquan raised an eyebrow. "What perspective?" Igor explained. He stated that this is a conflict of ideologies, and there is no notion of betrayal. If everyone shared my vision, such a significant uproar would not have occurred. Unfortunately, my beliefs diverged severely from those of the others, which resulted in my decision to withdraw from IQ Communications. Therefore, Old Chang, I have a request I hope you will fulfill." Chang Yuquan inquired, "What request?" Igor responded, "Allow the members of IQ Communications to make their own choices. Those who resonate with my ideology should be free to follow me, and you cannot obstruct them." Chang Yuquan nodded. "I can answer that right now. No problem." "Good," Igor said, pulling several printed agreements from his briefcase. "To be succinct, as long as you agree to sign this cooperation agreement with Mixin Communications, I am willing to sell my shares at market value to your board. As for my management rights, you may handle that as you see fit. If you do not agree, I will sell 15% of my shares, retaining 1% in the management rights of IQ Communications, continuing to serve as a nominal leader." Everyone present understood Igor's implication. As the founder of IQ Communications and a president with veto power, whether Igor could succeed was uncertain. But there was no doubt he could sabotage the company. One board representative took the agreement and distributed a copy to each member. Igor stood up, saying, "Take your time to review it. I will take Mr. Zhou for a tour. We shall reconvene in half an hour." Chang Yuquan nodded, "All right." After Igor and his companions exited, everyone bent their heads to read intently. The IQ Communications headquarters comprised 16 floors. Igor and Zhou Yuchen took the elevator to the 12th floor, where over a dozen young individuals were engrossed in video games. Upon noticing Igor's arrival, the youths rose and greeted him in unison. "Hello, Mr. AI. Continue with your activities." Igor gestured for them to sit and introduced Zhou Yuchen, saying, "Mr. Zhou, this is the app development team I assembled for mobile communication software. There are 22 members, averaging 25 years of age, all of whom are software programmers from prestigious universities. Due to my disagreements with the higher-ups, they have been left waiting here." Zhou Yuchen asked, "Among these 22 individuals, how many are willing to follow you to Mixin?" Igor sighed. "Only the team leader, Zhang Qi." Zhou Yuchen nodded and approached a young man covered in acne, asking, "What is your name, brother?" The young man replied, "I am Yan Junlang." "What a shame to waste such a good name on someone whose appearance contradicts it," Zhou Yuchen mused. He then inquired, "Why are you unwilling to follow Mr. AI?" Yan Junlang glanced at Igor, hesitated for a moment, and finally uttered, "The future is uncertain." Zhou Yuchen surveyed the group and asked loudly, "Is this the same reason for everyone?" The others nodded in agreement. Zhou Yuchen smiled. "Yan Junlang, how old are you this year? What is your monthly salary?" Yan Junlang replied, "I am 26, with a monthly salary of around 15,000, including year-end bonuses. My average compensation is about 20,000. Zhou Yuqin responded, let me do some calculations for you. You should be aware that programmers typically only remain in the field until 35. Before you reach that age, if you do not secure a mid-level position, you will likely be dismissed. Finding another job with such a high salary would be nearly impossible. Assuming a 10-year career without unforeseen events, you could earn 2.4 million. No matter how frugal you are, after accounting for living expenses, you would be fortunate to save 1 million. Yan Junlang shook his head and said, it would be remarkable to save 1 million. Zhou Yuqin continued, housing prices in Pingcheng are currently higher than those in Yunhai. For a typical location, 1 million might afford you a 30 square meter apartment. Considering your spouse, your family could manage a 60 square meter home. Then, should you become unemployed, even if luck were on your side and you found a job paying 10,000 a month, do you think that would suffice? To speak bluntly, if your parents age and require expensive medical care, could you afford it? Yan Junlang pressed his lips together and asked, Mr. Zhou, are you suggesting that joining McZin will resolve my issues? Zhou Yuqin smiled. Currently, McZin Communications is understaffed. If you all join, you will be pioneers. And your chances of climbing the ranks will far exceed those at IQ Communications. Chapter 347. Veto Power, Yan Junlang queried. What if McZin fails? Zhou Yuqin assured him. The success of McZin will be evident within 2 years. 2 years hence, you will still be but 28, perfectly capable of seeking another employment opportunity. Yet, should McZin prosper, I dare not boast of other outcomes, but at the very least, you could amass 1 million in savings far more swiftly than at IQ Communications Group. AI Guoku concurred, stating, if you are willing to join me at McZin, each of you shall receive a 20% salary increase. Yan Junlang raised an eyebrow and inquired, is that true, President AI? AI Guoku chuckled, both President Zhou and I are billionaires. Would we fret over such a trivial salary for you? Let us not jest. Furthermore, should McZin achieve future success, every brother who stands with us will receive a one-time bonus of no less than 300,000. This is my solemn promise. Zhou Yuqin added, Yan Junlang. And all my brothers, this is an opportunity to alter your destinies. Should you miss this chance, the likelihood of enduring a life of poverty looms large. Reflect carefully. I hope you do not choose a path of lifelong regret. The group exchanged glances, each lost in contemplation. After a brief silence, Yan Junlang spoke gravely, President AI. President Zhou, I wish to seize this youthful opportunity to take a gamble with you. AI Guoku confidently replied, Junlang, remember my words. You have made the wisest choice of your life. I will also join McZin. Me too. By heaven, fortune favors the bold. I shall wager on this chance. The group erupted in excitement. AI Guoku clapped his hands and declared, if you wish to accompany me, write your resignation letters immediately. While I am still the president of IQ Communications Group, I shall expedite your departures. In unison, the group affirmed, understood. Upon exiting the research and development department, AI Guoku felt considerably uplifted. He gave Zhou Yuqin a thumbs up, saying, impressive. Zhou Yuqin replied, it's merely a matter of empathy. President AI, while we have the time, let us swiftly tour the various departments and recruit as many as we can. AI Guoku nodded in agreement. Let us begin with the finance department. Over the ensuing hours, AI Guoku and Zhou Yuqin visited 6 departments, utilizing their persuasive eloquence to successfully entice several talented, yet underappreciated mid-level executives to join their ranks. Chang Yukuan attempted to reach AI Guoku by phone thrice, but all calls went unanswered. It was only when he arrived in person that AI Guoku and Zhou Yuqin found themselves compelled to return to the conference room. President AI, this is excessive. Chang Yukuan expressed his dissatisfaction with AI Guoku's actions. While we were discussing agreements, you went off persuading our people. That is utterly unprincipled. AI Guoku replied nonchalantly, at this moment, you are still my subordinate. Until I officially resign from the presidency at the board meeting, you remain in your current position. However, I must ask you this. Have they agreed to grant you a veto vote? If not, you should tread carefully. A president without control over the company is no different from an ordinary CEO. In business operations, founders always delineate their rights when seeking investments. Thus, even with a mere 1% stake, they can maintain firm control over the company. This is the essence of dual-class shares. AI Guoku's departure was not due to challenges to his authority, but rather the constraints imposed upon him by the upper management. Had he chosen to stay, none could have thwarted him. Chang Yukuan frowned. President AI, we shall establish clear regulations. You need not concern yourself with this. AI Guoku sighed. After over 20 years of camaraderie, I worry you might be sidelined by those foreign consortiums. I hope you remember that IQ Communications Group belongs to the people of Xia, not to foreigners. According to our previous agreement, I can designate a successor to my veto power. After I depart, I can bestow it upon you. Chang Yukuan was taken aback. Are you serious? AI Guoku's decision to leave was primarily a consequence of Chang Yukuan's betrayal. Had their roles been reversed, Chang Yukuan would not have merely offered a veto vote. He would have sought to dismantle the opponent entirely. The unexpected generosity of AI Guoku left Chang Yukuan both moved and somewhat ashamed. AI Guoku smiled. IQ Communications Group's current success owes much to your hard work. It is akin to my child. Naturally, I wish to entrust it to a reliable individual. At this juncture, AI Guoku abruptly shifted the topic. Of course, we shall discuss the veto power once matters are settled. Old Chang, have you concluded your discussions? My request should not be difficult for you to fulfill. Chang Yukuan, somewhat flustered by AI Guoku's demeanor, took a deep breath to steady his emotions. Our actions would effectively bolster the enemy. AI Guoku chuckled. Old Chang, did you not always assert that IQ was secure? Your statement reflects a lack of confidence. Chang Yukuan replied, confidence and foolishness are two vastly different concepts. President AI, we have a few conditions as well. AI Guoku's expression shifted, and he waved his hand. Old Chang, I require but a single word from you. Agree or disagree. If you agree, I will sell my shares. Transfer the presidency and veto power to you, enabling you to fully operate McZin. If you disagree, I shall retain my position as president of IQ and vie for the support of the board. Chang Yukuan countered, President AI, you cannot possibly win against us. AI Guoku retorted coldly, if I were to triple everyone's salaries, who would they choose to follow, you or me? Chang Yukuan responded, the board will not approve such a proposal. AI Guoku laughed, you should understand that as long as a single shareholder agrees with my approach, I will possess sufficient power to advance this proposal. Should one attempt fail, I shall make a second, and if that fails, I shall make a third. Old Chang, if you oppose every time, imagine the discontent that will arise among the others. Chang Yukuan sighed. President AI, must we make it so contentious? AI Guoku replied, the one creating discord is not I, but you. After a moment of silence, Chang Yukuan stated, I have but one condition. The collaboration period can only be 6 months. After 6 months, the agreement shall be nullified. AI Guoku frowned, glancing at Zhou Yuchun. Zhou Yuchun was most aware of whether 6 months would suffice for the entire plan. Chapter 348. The battle for talent. A trace of surprise crossed Chang Yukuan's face. He had not anticipated that the usually assertive AI Guoku would seek Zhou Yuchun's opinion on such a significant matter. Was it possible that the true authority at McZin did not rest with AI Guoku? Zhou Yuchun pondered for a moment and raised a finger. AI Guoku immediately comprehended his intent, stating, 1 year. This is our bottom line. Chang Yukuan replied, agreed. However, I require a veto vote. AI Guoku smiled. No problem. You are a man of your word, and when McZin's app launches, I hope you will be my partner. Chang Yukuan remarked, President AI. The mobile prospects for IQ and Hello are exceedingly bright. Do you genuinely believe that McZin can surpass us in the future? AI Guoku confidently replied, Old Chang, we shall see. Within 3 years, the truth will reveal that you and the board's obstinate members are mistaken. Chang Yukuan stated, I do not believe it. AI Guoku asserted, you may await the outcome. After reprinting 2 copies of the agreement, AI Guoku, Chang Yukuan, and Zhou Yuchun each affixed their signatures and seals. Aigua is still the president of IQ Communications Group. Only agreements bearing his signature hold validity. Chang Yukuan is to be the future president of IQ Communications Group and must also sign to prevent any future disputes regarding Aigua's alleged misuse of his position to benefit McZin Communications Company. As for Zhou Yuchun, he is the president of McZin Communications Company. After the agreement was finalized, Aigua extended his hand, stating, Old Chang, we will convene a board meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Chang Yukuan shook his hand in response, affirming, understood. After a brief hesitation, Chang Yukuan finally uttered the words, I'm sorry. Aigua was momentarily taken aback, seemingly surprised by Chang Yukuan's apology. His heart felt a pang of melancholy, yet also a flicker of comfort. He patted Chang Yukuan on the shoulder and remarked, Old Chang, kindness is not suited for command. You possess many admirable qualities. Yet your greatest flaw lies in your excessive compassion. It would be prudent for you to amend this. He continued, from now on. The future of IQ Communications Group rests on your shoulders. Do your best. Chang Yukuan personally escorted Aigua and the others downstairs. Just before getting into the car, Aigua smiled and said, anyone submitting a resignation tomorrow will accompany me. Old Chang, you have one more night to persuade them. Without hesitation, Chang Yukuan replied, I will do my utmost to retain them. Aigua responded, then we shall see if you possess that capability. On the way back, Aigua picked up his phone, continuously dialing the employees of IQ Communications Group. Zhou Yuchun noticed his target was quite specific, focusing on the deputy positions in various departments. Aigua assured them that joining McZin Communications Company would not only enhance their compensation, but also elevate them to the positions of department heads. The allure was undeniably significant. Two individuals immediately agreed, stating they would write their resignation letters at once, while others opted for a delaying tactic, indicating they needed to consider their options. Are you planning to empty the deputy positions across various departments of IQ Communications Group? Zhou Yuchen inquired with a smile. Igua replied, our Mixin Communications Company is merely a shell in need of numerous talents to fill these vacancies. While soldiers are plentiful, capable generals are rare. There are many talents within IQ Communications Group who, due to a lack of available positions, have been relegated to subordinate roles. If I can bring them to Mixin, the company will soon operate normally. Zhou Yuchen, waving his hand, stated, I have said I will only collect money and not involve myself in affairs. Igua laughed. I appreciate investors like you. Zhou, you mentioned that the team developing the Mixin app is based at Yendu University. I would like to pay them a visit. Zhou Yuchen replied, no problem. The head of the development department is my cousin, Su Yang. She has invited academician Wu Xingyan from the computer engineering school as a research advisor. Igua, if our people go there, it's best they assist rather than attempt to usurp command. The computer engineering school at Yendu University ranks as the nation's premier software technology institution. Zhou Yuchen entrusted such an important research task to Yendu University to establish a relationship with them. If Igua's research personnel were to offend them upon arrival, it would be disastrous. Igua appeared to understand this concern, giving Zhou Yuchen a thumbs up, saying, you have foresight. Rest assured, I will not allow anyone to contend for command, and I will ensure they assist the inexperienced students. Perhaps the graduates will become the elite of Mixin in the future. I think the same, Zhou Yuchen said, gazing out the window, his eyes glimmering with wisdom. At the core, the competition in the internet technology industry is a battle for talent. Retaining talent by any means necessary and harnessing their intelligence is the foremost duty of a company leader. In this regard, Mr. Ren Jiuzhou, president of Xiaoguang Communications Group, undoubtedly excels. Igua nodded. Ren Jiuzhou retained only 5% of the shares for himself, allocating the remaining 95% to the union. This is certainly not something just anyone can achieve. At the very least, I cannot. Zhou Yuchen remarked, in due time. The high-tech company I establish might also follow this path. Igua turned to Zhou Yuchen, noticing his calm demeanor as the sunset illuminated his face with a golden glow. Zhou, you and Ren are remarkably alike. You both should share a drink together. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. After attending the Xiaoguang Communications Group press conference tomorrow, I wish to tour their laboratory. To be honest, I am quite intrigued by Xiaoguang Communications Group and am eager to discover what they are developing. Igua replied. They may not agree to your visit. Zhou Yuchen shrugged. If they refuse, then so be it. At 9 o'clock that evening, Zhou Yuchen engaged in a video call with Xiaoya through the IQ software on his computer. Xiaoya was in tears, feeling quite wronged. Zhou Yuchen exerted considerable effort, signing a multitude of unequal treaties to soothe the young girl. Having spent a week in Pengcheng, he truly missed her. After Xiaoya fell asleep, Shun Jingyan called Zhou Yuchen. Honey, there shouldn't be any women in your room, right? Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Wife, could you refrain from viewing me as an animal that only thinks with its lower half? You can rest assured, I shall maintain my fidelity to you. I find that hard to believe. If you don't believe me, when I return home, you can inspect thoroughly and test my resolve. Enough of that nonsense. Dear, I need to discuss something serious with you. My grandfather's birthday is next Saturday. Will you have time to join us? Chapter 349. The first meeting with Ren Jiuzhou previously. Zhou Yuchen had heard Shin Jingyan mention her family background. Shin Chenggang was an orphan, having grown up in an orphanage. The director of the orphanage shared his surname. Hence he was also known as Shun. Through diligent study, Shun Xinggang was admitted to the Qingjiang police school at the age of 18. During an outing, he rescued Dai Wan from a group of ruffians, and they eventually fell in love and married. Dai Wan's father, Dai Wan Ling, was a commander of a military district, holding the rank of major general. He was quite displeased with Dai Wan's choice and confronted Shin Qinggang. They made a wager. If Shin Qinggang could endure training in a special forces unit for 3 years, Dai Wanling would consent to his relationship with Dai Wan. To Dai Wanling's surprise, Shin Qinggang not only persevered but also excelled, becoming the deputy commander of a special forces unit. True to his word, Dai Wanling reluctantly agreed to allow Dai Wan to marry Shin Qinggang. Later, Shun Qinggang transitioned to the police system, where his resolute demeanor and astute mind garnered the attention of superiors, leading to his steady promotion. Throughout this journey, the Dai family provided no resources to Shin Qinggang, much to Dai Wan's discontent. Recently, Shun Shiyan visited Yendu without even entering the Dai residence, illustrating the strained relations between the two families. Ironically, Shin Jingyan's uncles were somewhat lacking in capability. Despite having the resources from the Dai family, only her eldest uncle, Dai Xiaobiao, managed to ascend to a vice-ministerial position. The second uncle, Dai Xiaoming, held the rank of deputy division commander in the military, while the third uncle, Dai Xiaoshan, ventured into business, taking over 20 years to amass a fortune of over $1 billion. Had these resources been allocated to Sun Qinggang, he might have already attained the rank of a minister. Zhou Yuqin calculated, as long as no extraordinary circumstances arise, it should be fine. When will you return? Tomorrow evening. I will attend the smartphone launch event hosted by the Xiaoguang Communications Group, and the day after, I shall make a trip to Guangqing. I have identified around 20 properties in Shiyan, and once the contracts are signed, I shall return home. Have you exhausted the 150 billion you borrowed? Not yet. There remains over 20 billion. I plan to mortgage the 3 villas we purchased earlier along with the spacious apartment we currently reside in. Even if we fall slightly short, it would not be a concern. So, has Shirdu finally completed his task? Indeed, he has performed exceptionally well. My dear, how many copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone have been sold? We are on the verge of surpassing 2 million copies. Just yesterday, a Hollywood film company offered $3 million to acquire my adaptation rights. They are dreaming if they think I would agree. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone serves as the foundation of the entire series. Every step must be taken with utmost caution and solidity. I estimate that within half a month, sales of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone should exceed 3 million copies. Coincidentally, I need to take Shiyan to the Lighthouse Country. If the financial crisis occurs in the Lighthouse Country as I suspect, the film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone will inevitably be postponed. Should all remain stable, I will seek collaboration with one of the 8 major film companies in Hollywood. The $400 million worth of Softstar Group stocks purchased by Zhou Yuqin has surged by approximately 42%, yielding an impressive profit of $8.8 billion. According to the system's projections, Softstar Group is expected to dip by about 5% in the coming days, followed by a dramatic rise of over 15% within the next 10 days. Zhou Yuqin's strategy is to gradually sell off the Softstar stocks when the increase reaches 50%. After deducting various expenses, he should net around $1 billion in profit. To maximize his gains, Zhou Yuqin has decided to retain only $2 billion for emergencies, converting the remainder into US dollars to short the Lighthouse Country's stock market. Opportunities like this are rare. This event could potentially represent the greatest fluctuation in the Lighthouse Country's stock market over the next decade. And Zhou Yuqin is determined not to let this lucrative chance slip away. Sun Jingyan remarked, I do not comprehend these matters. You handle it. The two conversed for over half an hour before ending the call. The following evening at 7:30, Zhou Yuqin and Guku arrived at the banquet hall of Longxiang Hotel, where the launch event for Xiaoguang Communications Group's first-generation smartphone was taking place. Apart from the two of them, nearly half of the industry magnates from Xiaoguang's telecommunications sector were present, particularly the competitors in mobile phone manufacturing, including Chu Nanming and his daughter from the Nanming Group, as well as Hua Xingchen, the president of Xingchen Group. Xiaoguang Communications Group boasts formidable strength, with unparalleled research and development capabilities in Xiaoguang. And although they usually maintain a low profile, no competitor dares to underestimate Xiaoguang phones. Mr. AI, Mr. Zhou, welcome, Ren Jiuzhou greeted them with a cheerful demeanor. Guku inquired, Mr. Ren, I may need to reintroduce myself to you. Ren Jiuzhou replied, I am aware. You resigned from IQ Communications Group this morning and assumed the presidency and CEO role at Mixin Communications Company. Rest assured, our signage reads Mixin Communications Company. Guku smiled. Thank you. Has Mr. Chang arrived? Ren Jiuzhou initially thought Guku would harbor resentment towards Chang Yukuan, but he was surprised that Guku still referred to him in such a manner, silently praising him as a person of great ambition. Mr. Chang arrived 10 minutes ago. I have matters to discuss with him, so I will head over now. Very well. After Guku departed, Ren Jiuzhou's gaze turned to Zhou Yuqin, his admiration barely concealed. I recall embarking on my entrepreneurial journey at the age of 25, only to be swindled out of over 10 million. Yet at the same age, Mr. Zhou has achieved such remarkable success. Truly, heroes emerge in youth. You flatter me, Mr. Ren. Xiaoguang Communications Group contributes to the advancement of our nation's technological endeavors, while my Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group possess considerably lower technological content, merely contributing some taxes. The disparity is indeed vast. Mr. Zhou, you are too modest. We are not as great as you suggest. Mr. Ren, I have reviewed the patents your company has applied for over the years. If I am not mistaken, your company is on the verge of breakthroughs in 3G network technology, with some technologies even essential for 4G networks. Am I right? Ren Jiuzhou was taken aback, exclaiming, Mr. Zhou, you underestimate the complexity of 3G and 4G network technologies. We lack such capabilities. Zhou Yuqin replied earnestly, Mr. Ren, do not worry. I am a citizen of Xiaoguang. I sincerely hope you can lead in the fields of 4G and 5G communication technologies, becoming the architects of the rules and making our nation proud. However, I would like to offer you a friendly warning. When that day arrives, the lighthouse country will undoubtedly impose a comprehensive blockade on your company, encompassing operating systems, chips, lithography machines, and more. I hope you can prepare accordingly. In a parallel world similar to the last, Zhou Yuqin certainly wished to prevent the circumstances that befell Huawei from repeating themselves for Xiaoguang, hence his timely warning. Observing Ren Jiuzhou's serious and perplexed expression, Zhou Yuqin waved his hand and chuckled. Mr. Run, I apologize. I may have been overly apprehensive. Ren Jiuzhou responded, Mr. Zhou, your warning is very timely. I will take your words to heart. I was merely speaking off the cuff. Please do not take it too seriously. Mr. Run, I have a humble request. I wonder if you could oblige? Please, go ahead. I am aware that your company has established the nation's largest technology research and development base in Pingqing Industrial Park. May I visit for a tour? Rest assured, I can sign a confidentiality agreement and will not disclose a word. Ren Jiuzhou paused for a moment before responding. Mr. Zhou, when are you available? I will personally accompany you. How about tomorrow at 10 in the morning? Excellent. I shall await your esteemed presence at the Xiaoguang Technology Research and Development Base. You are too kind, Mr. Ren. I truly cannot accept such praise. Just then, a booming voice interrupted. Mr. Ren, congratulations. Turning to look, Ren Jiuzhou saw that it was Ma Xinqing, the president of Hello Communications Group. Mr. Ma, your presence at our Xiaoguang smartphone launch truly elevates the occasion, Ren Jiuzhou said graciously. Mr. Ren, you are too polite. After exchanging pleasantries with Ren Jiuzhou, Ma Xinqing turned his attention to Zhou Yuqin, sizing him up before saying, You must be Mr. Zhou from Yuechen Gaming Company. Zhou Yuqin replied, Hello, Mr. Ma. I am Zhou Yuqin. Ma Xinqing chuckled. Though our two companies are located in the same city, it is unfortunate we have never met until today. Mr. Zhou, how are the 70 or so RD personnel who transitioned from our Hello Gaming Company? This was clearly an attempt to stir trouble. Ren Jiuzhou's smile faltered slightly. Zhou Yuqin remained unfazed, responding, They are all elites in the field of game development, and their skills are undoubtedly exceptional. I must extend my gratitude to Mr. Ma for recognizing that Yuechen Gaming Company is a modest enterprise, lacking experience in developing large-scale online games. Thus, he consented to the involvement of so many individuals from Yuechen to assist us, truly embodying the spirit of camaraderie. Ren Jiuzhou initially harbored concerns that Zhou Yuqin, in his youthful exuberance, might clash with Ma Xinqing. However, it turned out that Zhou was equally cunning, adept at delivering words that were both offensive and defensive. What sounded like gratitude on the surface held deeper meanings, known only to Ma Xinqing himself. Ma Xinqing smiled and remarked that Hello Communications had faced numerous competitors in its growth, having previously endured a crisis with the collective resignation of core members. Yet, they persevered. And he believed this instance would be no different. He then advised Zhou to tread carefully. Zhou Yuqin waved his hand dismissively, asserting that there was no need for concern. He expressed joy at the thought of his brothers finding better opportunities than Yuechen Gaming Company, and encouraged Mr. Ma to approach anyone he had in mind directly. Should a deal be struck, Zhou Yuqin promised to graciously bid them farewell. Ma Xinqing inquired if Zhou felt any sorrow over this. Zhou chuckled, dismissing the notion that there was anything to lament. In this era of explosive technological advancement and a plethora of talent, no individual is irreplaceable, including entrepreneurs like themselves. He scoffed at the idea that without Kunpeng Group, significant battery innovations would cease to exist, or that the absence of Hello Communications would eliminate instant messaging capabilities. Such notions were unfathomable. Zhou Yuqin's ambitious sentiments resonated with Ren Jiuzhou, who admired his perspective. The sea embraces all rivers. True greatness lies in inclusivity, he mused. Ma Xinqing sensed that Zhou Yuqin was not easily dealt with, causing his pupils to constrict. He then mentioned hearing about Zhou's collaboration with AI Zong to establish a Xian Communications Company, questioning their confidence in the mobile communications sector. Zhou Yuqin laughed, noting that AI Zong had even resigned to pursue this venture, clearly indicating their optimism. He then inquired if Ma Xinqing's company had any plans to enter the mobile communications market. After a brief silence, Ma Xinqing acknowledged that there were currently no such plans, but hinted that this may change upon his return. He speculated that they might become future competitors. Zhou Yuqin welcomed the idea of competition, asserting that it fosters progress and that Xian would be glad to embrace all challengers. Zhou Yuqin was seated in the front row on the right side, next to AI Gyuk. Those in the front row were largely titans of the communications industry in Xia country. While Zhou was indifferent to rank, he felt elated to receive respect and recognition from his peers. In stark contrast, AI Gyuk was less pleased, feeling overshadowed by Chang Yuquan's closer proximity to the center of the front row. Additionally, several individuals who had submitted resignations to IQ Communications Group earlier in the day had rescinded their decisions, leaving AI Gyuk frustrated and powerless. At precisely 8 o'clock, The launch event for the first-generation Xiaowang smartphone commenced. Although the duration of the event was brief, lasting only half an hour, it instilled a sense of trepidation among the presidents of Nanming Group, Xingchen Group, and several other mobile phone brands. The Xiaowang smartphone, while utilizing similar batteries, screens, and operating systems as its competitors, boasted a striking aesthetic and an impressive camera capable of capturing images at a staggering 12 million pixels, surpassing all other phones, including Orange Mobile. This represented a significant technological breakthrough for Xiaowang Communications Group in camera development, a feat that left industry counterparts restless. The pricing was set at 199 yuan for the 4 GB model and 499 yuan for the 8 GB model, undercutting the market prices of Nanming and Xingchen phones by approximately 100 yuan. As applause erupted, the event concluded. Ren Jiuzhou took the stage to invite everyone to dine, knowing well that in such settings, the act of dining was secondary to the importance of networking. Many business deals are forged in the midst of convivial gatherings. AI Gyuk introduced Zhou Yuchen to several industry luminaries. Upon learning that Zhou was the president of both Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group, none dared to underestimate him. Soon, Zhou found himself with a handful of business cards. Mr. Zhou, long time no see, called out Chu-Xian, holding a glass of wine and smiling as she approached. Zhou Yuchen greeted her warmly, inquiring about the impending launch of their second-generation Nanming smartphone and whether the Xiaowang phone had exerted any pressure on them. Chu-Xian responded with a hint of resignation, saying that they were indeed under considerable pressure. She candidly admitted that while their phone matched Xiaowang's in appearance and performance, they had fallen short in camera pixel quality. Zhou nodded, acknowledging the unexpected move by Xiaowang Communications Group. He noted that camera development involves numerous disciplines and that Mr. Ren had likely laid the groundwork for this years ago. Chu-Xian conveyed her father's view of Mr. Ren as one of the most formidable businessmen he had encountered, asserting that their entry into the smartphone arena would undoubtedly make them their fiercest competitors, a reality they were already facing. Zhou observed Chu Nanming, who was deep in conversation with Hua Xingchen, and remarked on the impending price war in the smartphone market, curious about the extent of their competitive strategies. A glimmer of determination flickered in Chu-Xian's eyes as she stated that they had no other choice. Zhou then queried whether Nanming Group had any intentions of pursuing in-house research and development. He cautioned that without core technology, a company's future prospects would be bleak, even if they opted for a low-end market strategy. The outdated rationale of buying overbuilding would no longer suffice. The future of mobile phones hinged on technological prowess. After a moment of contemplation, Chu-Xian confessed that Nanming Group was not solely her father's company, and convincing the board to allocate funds for research and development would be nearly impossible. Zhou warned her that they faced substantial challenges ahead. Xiaowang's technological foundation was robust, with nearly 10,000 researchers at its disposal. If they committed to smartphone production, the difficulty for them would be negligible. The launch of the first-generation Xiaowang smartphone was merely a market test, while significant transformations were likely to emerge in the latter half of next year or the first half of the following year. Without sweeping reforms, Nanming Group risked potential downfall. Xiaoxin, is this Mr. Zhou? Chu Nanming interjected, approaching with a glass of wine and a smile, accompanied by Xingchen Group's president, Hua Xingchen. Though competitors in the market, their personal rapport remained amicable. Zhou Yuchen greeted them both, to which Hua Xingchen jested about feeling aged in the presence of Zhou, humorously suggesting it was time for retirement. Zhou Yuchen smiled and said, Mr. Hua, you flatter me. Nanming and Xingchen are indeed the titans of the mobile phone market in Xia country. We at Kunping Group still rely on both of you for our sustenance. Chu Nanming waved his hand and replied, it should be us relying on your Kunping Group for our livelihoods. This statement held a grain of truth. Nowadays, virtually all smartphones are equipped with high-capacity batteries and rapid charging technology. If Zhou Yuchen were to cease supply to Nanming Group or Xingchen Group, the competitive edge of their smartphones in the market would significantly diminish. As the saying goes, it is easy to transition from frugality to luxury, but challenging to revert from luxury to frugality. After becoming accustomed to a phone that charges fully in 30 minutes, who could tolerate one that takes 3 to 4 hours? Hua Xingchen inquired, Mr. Zhou, what is your opinion on Xiaowang smartphones? Zhou Yuchen replied, I was just discussing this matter with Miss Chu. If I were to summarize my thoughts, I would use 2 words, formidable rival. Hua Xingchen nodded, acknowledging, Xiaowang is indeed a respected and fearsome competitor. Ren Jiuzhou observed the animated discussion among Chu Nanming, Hua Xingchen, and Zhou Yuchen, and approached with a glass in hand. Mr. Chu, Mr. Hua, Mr. Zhou, Miss Chu, I appreciate your attendance at our smartphone launch event. Thank you, Mr. Ren, the others responded. After some pleasantries, Hua Xingchen directly asked, Mr. Ren, is your esteemed company currently developing mobile phone chips? The other 3 turned their attention to Ren Jiuzhou, who candidly admitted, indeed, chips are the core of smartphones. We aspire to have complete control over them. As you know, rock chips are exorbitantly priced. As long as they are in the picture, lowering smartphone prices will be a challenge. While the cost of rock chips may only exceed 100 yuan, they are sold to Xia country for as much as 600 to 700 yuan, yielding enormous profits. This is why even the cheapest smartphones on the market are priced above 2,000. The high cost of rock chips is the culprit. The only competitor capable of rivaling rock chips globally is the Jiaoxing chip, but unfortunately, the two companies have already agreed that Jiaoxing chips will not be priced lower than rock chips. Chu Nanming raised an eyebrow and remarked, "It seems Mr. Ren has been strategizing in the chip sector for quite some time." Ren Jiuzhou replied, "We began 5 years ago. After all, we are in the communications industry, and chips are indispensable. To avoid being at the mercy of others, this issue must be addressed. As for mobile phone chips, they are merely a supplementary product." Chu Nanming inquired, "Mr. Ren, when do you expect your Xiaoguang chips to be released? Will you sell them to us?" Ren Jiuzhou sighed, "We will likely only supply ourselves." Chu Nanming frowned, questioning, after investing so much time and resources to develop chips, why not sell them externally? The current chip prices are astonishingly high. If the Xiaoguang chips could be more affordable, it would create competition for rock and Jiaoxing chips, undoubtedly driving prices down. Ren Jiuzhou, resigned, stated, "Even if we sold them, our prices would not be lower than those of rock and Jiaoxing chips. We cannot afford to offend Rock Group and Jiaoxing Group." The phrase "at the mercy of others" immediately resonated with the attendees. The manufacturing of mobile phone chips is in foreign hands, leaving the decision of whether or not to produce chips at their discretion. If Xiaoguang chips dared to lower their prices, they might face supply cuts or difficulties in finding manufacturers, ultimately leading to the demise of Xiaoguang smartphones. Zhou Yuchen remarked, "This exemplifies the greatest flaw of creating rather than buying. The core components are held by competitors. Regardless of how innovative one may be, one must still bow to others. Fortunately, the military industry does not require top-tier chips. Otherwise, Xia country might well repeat the mistakes of a century ago." Ren Jiuzhou's expression turned somber as he said, "We are lagging far behind. To catch up will take at least 2 or 3 decades. Zhou Yuchen mused, "Where there's a will, there's a way. Someone must take the initiative, but I wonder who will be the first to charge ahead." Chu Nanming and Hua Xingchen fell silent. Both wished to invest in the smartphone research department, but found it unfeasible, let alone allocate substantial funds for chip research and development. Ren Jiuzhou turned to Zhou Yuchen and chuckled, "Mr. Zhou, with your youthful vigor, perhaps this historical mission is destined for you." Zhou Yuchen raised an eyebrow and replied, "If Mr. Ren were to invest $200 billion in me, I would promptly assemble a team to pursue lithography machines." Ren Jiuzhou smiled and said, "If I had $200 billion, I would have embarked on it myself long ago." Laughter erupted among the group. Zhou Yuchen and Ren Jiuzhou exchanged knowing glances. Who was this young man, able to engage in light-hearted banter with 3 industry giants? He was Zhou Yuchen, the president of Kunpeng Group, the very entity that developed high-capacity mobile batteries, monopolizing the global market. It was surprising to learn he was so young. News of his accomplishments had evidently not spread widely. Zhou Yuchen was merely 25 years old. It was rumored that he and AI had established a company named Mixin Communications, which was expected to create a stir in the instant messaging sector. With 2 reigning powers in the instant messaging arena, toppling Hello and IQ would not be an easy feat. Many turned their gaze toward Zhou Yuchen, engaging in discussion about him. After the banquet, Zhou Yuchen returned to his hotel. He opened his email and reviewed the property documents for Guangqing sent by Shen Shiyan, confirming there were no issues. Zhou Yuchen called Shen Shiyan to inform him he would visit the following evening to finalize the contract and payment. The next morning at 10 o'clock, Zhou Yuchen arrived at the Xiaoguang Technology Research and Development Base, where he was personally welcomed by Ren Jiuzhou. "Mr. Ren, I truly appreciate your hospitality," Zhou Yuchen said. Shaking his hand, Ren Jiuzhou chuckled, "It is my pleasure." The Xiaoguang Technology R&D base spans 600 acres, with a total building area of approximately 2 million square meters, capable of accommodating 40,000 researchers. Currently, only around 8,000 are employed. Clearly, Ren Jiuzhou is not content with this modest workforce, indicating his vast ambitions. Ren Jiuzhou first took Zhou Yuchen to the mobile phone research department, where about 1,000 people were at work. The first generation of smartphones had already been launched, and they were now developing the second generation at a commendable pace. Zhou Yuchen asked, "Mr. Ren, is your company's second-generation smartphone nearing its debut?" Ren Jiuzhou shook his head, replying, "Not necessarily. It depends on the progress of the processor chip." Zhou Yuchen paused. "I don't seem to see the chip development department." Ren Jiuzhou explained, "The mobile phone chip and communication device chip R&D departments are located together. You'll see them shortly." Zhou Yuchen acknowledged with a brief "oh" and refrained from further comments. After touring the mobile phone research department, Ren Jiuzhou led him to the network communications department, which was divided into 3G and 4G RD sections, employing approximately 5,000 people. Despite Zhou Yuchen's considerable knowledge in communications, he still found much of it incomprehensible. Specialization is key. Though Zhou Yuchen benefited from the assistance of a comprehensive development system, he still fell short of true versatility. Of course, Zhou Yuchen had no intention of achieving complete omnipotence. Ren Jiuzhou introduced Zhou Yuchen, stating that they had secured 30,000 technological patents in the domain of 4G network technology, ranking second only to the Lock Group and surpassing the Jiuxin Group. In terms of 4G network development, the Shaoguang Communication Group had evidently outperformed the Huawei Group of the same era. The upper 3 floors of the Network Communication Department were entirely dedicated to chip research and development, employing around 2,000 individuals. When Ren Jiuzhou and Zhou Yuchen arrived at the Mobile Chip RD Department, over 20 experts were engaged in a heated and tense discussion regarding a particular issue. Despite the entrance of Ren and Zhou, they did not pause their deliberations. Observing this, Ren Jiuzhou contemplated taking Zhou Yuchen outside, but to his surprise, Zhou Yuchen settled into a corner, displaying keen interest in the large screen. Consequently, Ren Jiuzhou also took a seat. "Old Zheng, you are making a directional error. If you proceed along your current line of thought, it is likely to lead to significant problems," proclaimed an elderly gentleman, his thinning hair betraying his age, as he pointed emphatically at the screen. Evidently, his remarks had little effect. "Old Wang, that is sheer nonsense." Another elder, of similar age, appeared quite agitated, countering the first elder's assertions and vehemently criticizing his points. Zhou Yuchen borrowed a document from a nearby young expert and scrutinized it intently. After listening to both sides' arguments, he grasped their predicament thoroughly. "Mr. Run, who are these two elderly gentlemen?" he inquired. Ren Jiuzhou indicated the bald elder, saying, "This is Dr. Zheng Huatao, and the other is Professor Wang Yuanzhou. They serve as the guiding mentors in the Mobile Chip RD department. Their opinions frequently clash, leading to endless disputes." Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "Is it possible that their arguments ultimately lead to a solution?" Ren Jiuzhou nodded in agreement. "Indeed." Zhou Yuchen remarked, "Regrettably, it appears that this time, that will not be the case." Ren Jiuzhou was taken aback. "Mr. Zhou, do you have experience in chip research and development?" Zhou Yuchen replied, "I have perused a few books. Both Professors Wang and Zheng have made directional errors. Their paths will inevitably lead to dead ends." Their dialogue caught the attention of several researchers nearby, who turned to look at Zhou Yuchen. One researcher stood up and asked, "Mr. Ren, is this gentleman affiliated with our company?" Ren Jiuzhou waved his hand dismissively. "No, he is Zhou Yuchen, an important partner of our company." Dr. Zheng Huatao furrowed his brows, saying, "Mr. Ren, the work on mobile chip development is confidential. It would be prudent not to bring unrelated individuals here." Zhou Yuchen silently thought, "How arrogant these people are, disregarding even the president of the company." The researcher continued, "Professor Zheng, this gentleman just claimed that both your and Professor Wang's proposals are erroneous, leading to inevitable dead ends." Chapter 353. Winning over the experts. Upon hearing this, Wang Yuanzhou chuckled, intrigued. "Young man, do you truly understand what we are discussing?" Zhou Yuchen remained unperturbed, stating, "You are developing a 48 nanometers process mobile chip and are currently at the most critical juncture. A misguided direction will waste at least 2 months of valuable time. Choosing the correct path should lead to successful development within 2 months. Am I right, Professor Wang?" Wang Yuanzhou, taken aback, responded, "I did not expect you to possess such capabilities. What is your name?" Ren Jiuzhou coughed lightly, introducing, "He is Mr. Zhou Yuchen, the president of Yuechen Game Company and Kunping Group. Professors Zheng and Wang, please continue. I shall escort Mr. Zhou out." Wang Yuanzhou interjected, "Mr. Ren, do not be hasty. Since Mr. Zhou believes our proposals are flawed, I am genuinely interested in hearing his insights." Ren Jiuzhou glanced helplessly at Zhou Yuchen. Although he was the president of Shaoguang Communication Group, he felt little authority in the presence of national treasures like Zheng Huatao and Wang Yuanzhou. "Then I shall not hold back," Zhou Yuchen said, rising and directly addressing the two elders. In just 15 minutes, he thoroughly dismantled both Zheng's and Wang's proposals. If Zheng Huatao and Wang Yuanzhou had only extended their discussions a quarter of the way, Zhou Yuchen had nearly extended it 3/4. Most critically, the questions Zhou Yuchen posed left Zheng Huatao and Wang Yuanzhou speechless, while many researchers struggled to comprehend the discourse. Once Zhou Yuchen concluded, the entire conference room fell silent. Zheng Huatao's brows knitted into a frown, while Wang Yuanzhou stared fixedly at his plan, immobile. The astonishment on Ren Jiuzhou's face was palpable. He had not anticipated such a high level of expertise in chip development from someone so young. After a moment, Wang Yuanzhou ripped his proposal in half and turned to Zhou Yuchen, saying, "You are correct, Mr. Zhou. My proposal is indeed inadequate." Zheng Huatao, with a bitter expression, added, "After 2 weeks of hard work, I ended up with a piece of garbage. It's truly disheartening." Zhou Yuchen reassured them, "In the realm of scientific research, we must carve a path through a thicket of thorns. It is entirely normal to misstep." Zheng Huatao inquired, "Mr. Zhou, do you have a reasonable solution?" Zhou Yuchen smiled. "Is there a blackboard available?" Wang Yuanzhou immediately called out, "Quickly, bring in the blackboard." Soon, over 10 researchers carried in 4 large blackboards. Zhou Yuchen said nothing, picking up a piece of chalk and writing for a full 20 minutes, filling all 4 boards. Setting down the chalk, he surveyed the room, declaring, "This is my proposed solution. I will allocate 10 minutes for discussion. Please jot down any questions. I shall address them upon my return from the restroom." Wang Yuanzhou, skeptical, asked, "Mr. Zhou, are you so confident that your proposal is correct?" Zhou Yuchen replied confidently, "This solution is infallible, 100% correct. Without false modesty, I believe no one in the world is superior to me in chip development." With that, Zhou Yuchen gracefully exited the conference room. Inside, the room erupted in astonishment. "Goodness, how audacious. He dares to claim he is the best in the world. I cannot believe anyone could devise a 100% correct solution in such a short time. I suspect there must be flaws in his proposal." Wang Yuanzhou slammed the table, asserting, "Enough with the chatter. Let us review the proposal. If we cannot identify a flaw, we will disgrace ourselves entirely." Everyone began discussing Zhou Yuchen's proposal. 10 minutes later, Zhou Yuchen returned to the conference room. Zheng Huatao, being impatient, began questioning before Zhou Yuchen could speak. "Mr. Zhou, I believe there is an issue with your third step." Zhou Yuchen promptly provided 2 or more solutions to 5 consecutive questions, leaving Zheng Huatao thoroughly impressed. Wang Yuanzhou and the other researchers were equally engaged, posing questions to Zhou Yuchen, who consistently offered swift and clear answers. Recognizing the presence of a true genius in chip research and development, the gathered researchers seized the opportunity to ask all their accumulated questions. Zhou Yuchen welcomed them all, striving to explain each query in an accessible and comprehensible manner. The dialogue between the 2 parties persisted until 2 in the afternoon before finally concluding. Everyone cast a reverent gaze towards Zhou Yuchen. Zheng Huatao marveled, "Mr. Zhou, in my lifetime, I have encountered numerous prodigies. Although their abilities are remarkable, none have transcended the realm of humanity as you have. If our mobile chip could benefit from your guidance and assistance, our development speed would undoubtedly accelerate several-fold." Zhou Yuchen replied with a smile, "If all goes as planned, I will establish a chip development company next year, albeit with a different focus than yours." Ren Jiuzhou's eyes flickered, and he inquired, "Mr. Zhou, what type of chip do you intend to develop?" Zhou Yuchen candidly responded, "A GPU." Ren Jiuzhou, puzzled, asked, "Why choose a GPU?" Zhou Yuchen explained, "Because GPUs are vital for the future technological advancement of our nation and must be perfected." Sensing Zhou Yuchen's reluctance to elaborate further, Ren Jiuzhou refrained from pressing the matter. "I sincerely apologize for making you go hungry today at noon," he said. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, "It's quite all right. I genuinely hope that your company can expedite the development of the mobile chip." Ren Jiuzhou suggested, "Shall we go out for a meal now?" Zhou Yuchen nodded. "Let us all go together." Zheng Huatao interjected, "Mr. Zhou, you and Mr. Ren need not concern yourselves with us. We need to organize our notes." Zhou Yuchen glanced at Ren Jiuzhou, who shrugged and said, "Let them be. I cannot manage them anyway." After bidding farewell to the group, Zhou Yuchen accompanied Ren Jiuzhou to the kitchen. Ren Jiuzhou had already contacted the chef, and soon 6 dishes and a soup were served. As they dined, they engaged in conversation. "Mr. Zhou, you truly astonish me. The experts in the chip development department are all quite arrogant and self-important. Not only do they dismiss ordinary individuals, but even I often find myself at a loss against them. Today, you have avenged me, demonstrating to them that there are indeed greater talents in the world." Ren Jiuzhou continued, "If you find them difficult to manage, feel free to leave them to me. I will require at least 1,000 experienced chip developers next year to strive for creating a globally leading GPU within a year." "Mr. Zhou, your prowess surpasses that of 1,000 armies. Why would you need them?" Zhou Yuchen laughed. "I knew you would be reluctant to part with such treasures. If I had access to such talent, I would undoubtedly nurture them as well." Ren Jiuzhou remarked, "Mr. Zhou, your visit to our research center must not merely be a whimsical endeavor, correct?" Zhou Yuchen nodded. "To speak boldly, developing chips is not a challenge for me. The difficulty lies in chip manufacturing, particularly with lithography machines." Ren Jiuzhou's pupils dilated as he set down his chopsticks and said solemnly, "Mr. Zhou, you do not intend to develop lithography machines, do you? That is nearly impossible. The components of a lithography machine number in the thousands, consisting of optical systems, mechanical systems, control systems, and others. To say nothing of other challenges. Even the optical system alone is enough to confound scientists worldwide, given our nation's current technological capabilities. Producing a lithography machine is virtually unattainable, let alone by a single company. Zhou Yuchen sipped his tea and replied, "You are correct. I have been researching lithography machines recently and discovered that even with the nation's full efforts over 5 to 10 years, results are not guaranteed. Yet, we must address this issue. The reason is simple. The lighthouse nation is shameless. Once they realize they can no longer maintain technological superiority, they will undoubtedly strangle us, with chips being the foundation of all technology. If they thwart us in this area, we will have no means of retaliation. Mr. Ren, I have two purposes for being here today. First, to assess the level of development your company has reached, and second, to propose a collaboration in founding a semiconductor company dedicated to developing the light source systems for lithography machines." Ren Jiuzhou was taken aback. Light source systems? What do you mean, Mr. Zhou? Zhou Yuchen explained. There are two approaches to resolving the bottleneck related to lithography machines. One is to develop the machines themselves, which is rather unrealistic. The other is to tackle the core systems of lithography machines. During his research on lithography machines, Zhou Yuchen lamented that even if he possessed all the blueprints and technical documentation necessary for constructing a lithography machine, he could not feasibly develop one in a short time frame. Many precision instruments and equipment cannot be produced domestically and must be imported. The reason our nation was able to rapidly acquire countermeasures following the onset of the technological conflict is that our scientific and research capabilities had already reached a certain level, coupled with the availability of a complete array of industrial sectors domestically, which is evidently not the case presently. Since we cannot produce them, we must join the endeavor. We are currently in the era of DUV lithography machines, with a wavelength of 193 nanometers, even when pushed to its limits using multiple exposure techniques. It can only produce 7 nanometers chips. In contrast, the wavelength of the EUV lithography machine in the past was merely 135 nanometers, suitable for manufacturing chips at 5 nanometers and below. Zhou Yuchen's plan is to establish a light source research department to develop extreme ultraviolet light with a wavelength of 135 nanometers, compelling others to seek collaboration with us. This way, the issue of lithography machine bottlenecks would be resolved. Ren Jiuzhou, a perceptive individual, grasped Zhou Yuchen's intent and said, "You wish to develop a superior light source system?" Zhou Yuchen affirmed, "Precisely. Once we develop a better light source system, we can grant others permission to use it. Consequently, our status in the production and manufacturing of lithography machines would be on par with that of the lighthouse nation, or even more crucial, thus rendering them incapable of imposing chip sanctions against us." Ren Jiuzhou regarded Zhou Yuchen and remarked, "I believed I possessed a strong sense of crisis, yet yours surpasses mine. Why is that?" Zhou Yuchen chuckled, "Mr. Ren, if your company surpasses the lighthouse nation's telecommunications firms in 4G or 5G technology, they will undoubtedly suppress your company. Similarly, if my GPU achieves success in the global market and surpasses the market share of companies from the lighthouse nation, we will also face their sanctions. Chips represent our mutual vulnerability, which is why I seek your collaboration." Ren Jiuzhou responded, "It seems you have great confidence in yourself. However, why do you believe our Xiaoguang Communications Group can surpass the lighthouse nation?" Zhou Yuchen explained, "Your company holds the second position globally regarding patents in 3G and 4G technology, employing thousands of scientists, with research funding that can only be described as astronomical. Most importantly, your equity stake is merely 5%, and the company does not seek to go public, remaining exceedingly low-key. These obvious circumstances indicate that you have grand ambitions. Currently, you are merely in a period of dormancy. Once you erupt, it will surely create a sensation. Mr. Ruan, in order to avoid being subjected to chip sanctions by the lighthouse nation in the future, achieving a technological breakthrough in the lithography machine's light source system is the optimal solution. I hope you will consider this carefully." Ren Jiuzhou fell silent. He resumed eating, but the furrow in his brow suggested that the food had lost its appeal. In contrast, Zhou Yuchen enjoyed his meal, finding the cuisine at the Xiaoguang Communications Group superior to that of their Kunpeng Group, with the chef possessing at least a novice level of expertise. The most delectable dish was a spicy chicken, prepared exceptionally well. After finishing the meal, Ren Jiuzhou finally resolved to speak, saying, "Mr. Zhou, we have actually been collaborating with Xiaoguang Electronics Technology Company. For months ago, your inquiry at Xinjiang University made us realize the significance of chip manufacturing, prompting us to embark on the development of photolithography machines. However, the challenges we faced were far beyond our expectations. Xiaoguang Electronics is the leading integrated circuit wafer foundry in Xia country, as well as a dominant force in the semiconductor manufacturing industry, possessing over 40 photolithography machines capable of producing 90 nanometers chips. Ren Jiuzhou's willingness to share this secret with Zhou Yuqin clearly demonstrated his considerable determination. Zhou Yuqin's eyes lit up as he asked, "Have you established a light source laboratory?" Ren Jiuzhou replied, "It was secretly completed half a month ago." A radiant smile appeared on Zhou Yuqin's face. "This is wonderful. Mr. Run, by sharing this with me, you must be considering inviting me to join your small group, right?" Ren Jiuzhou nodded affirmatively. "Indeed." After a moment of contemplation, Zhou Yuqin responded, "Give me a year, and I can provide you with technical documentation on a 135 nanometers extreme ultraviolet light source. We can then proceed with our collaboration." Ren Jiuzhou, filled with a mix of surprise and excitement, asked, "Do you possess the technical documentation for the 135 nanometers extreme ultraviolet light source?" Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "Not at the moment, but I should have it in a year." In Chapter 355, "Are you just making empty promises?" The system contains all the research documents regarding photolithography from his past life, but acquiring them requires a substantial amount of popularity points. The coveted 135 nanometers extreme ultraviolet light source is valued at 10,000 attribute points, equivalent to 100 million popularity points. Without exchanging for other items, accumulating this amount within 6 months should be feasible. Ren Jiuzhou sighed, "Mr. Zhou, you are merely painting a grand vision for me. If you cannot deliver a year from now, we will incur significant losses." Zhou Yuqin replied, "The light source system is the very core of the photolithography machine. If you wish to create a photolithography machine, resolving the light source issue is imperative. Whether I provide you with the documentation or not, you will still need to tackle this challenge, so there is no risk involved. Mr. Run, trust me this time. Perhaps you and Zykan Electronics will receive an unexpected surprise." Ren Jiuzhou remarked, "There is no such thing as a free lunch. What do you desire?" Zhou Yuqin shrugged. "I must hold at least 51% of the patent rights for the 135 nanometers extreme ultraviolet light source." Ren Jiuzhou gasped, "That is impossible." Zhou Yuqin confidently asserted, "There is nothing impossible in this world. We can sign an agreement at that time. As long as I am not blacklisted by Zykan and other domestic and international companies, you can manage the patents. However, should I be blacklisted, I reserve the right to reclaim the patent at any moment. It is not necessary to insist on 51% of the patent rights. As long as my chip security is protected, we can negotiate further at that time." "Very well. I have one more question. Mr. Ren, since your company has begun producing smartphones, have you considered developing a mobile operating system?" The challenge of creating a mobile operating system is not particularly daunting. The key lies in constructing an ecosystem. In his previous life, Huawei faced sanctions from the Lighthouse Nation regarding mobile operating systems and was compelled to launch its own Harmony OS. Unfortunately, by then, other smartphone manufacturers and major application software companies had already formed strong ties with foreign operating systems, making it exceedingly difficult to adopt Harmony OS. Presently, as the mobile network is in its nascent stages, launching a domestically produced mobile operating system would undoubtedly be a commendable endeavor. Ren Jiuzhou gazed at him deeply, stating, "Mr. Zhou, even if we introduced the Xiaoguang operating system, how many smartphone manufacturers do you think would join us?" Zhou Yuqin smiled, "Mr. Ren, how many of the smartphones currently available in Xia country do you believe will survive?" Ren Jiuzhou's eyes flickered. "You do not hold them in high regard?" Zhou Yuqin replied without hesitation, "Tech companies lacking research and development capabilities will soon vanish without a trace. The current smartphone manufacturers are essentially mere assembly plants, lacking their own core technologies, yet they aspire to stand out amidst the tide of technological advancement. This is nothing short of a fantasy. Mr. Ren, should we not seize our destinies ourselves?" Ren Jiuzhou said, "I will contemplate this carefully." Zhou Yuqin smiled, "If you lack confidence, you might consider seeking assistance from the Xia Country Ministry of Science and Technology. If they are willing to intervene, what concerns would there be for the development of the Xiaoguang mobile operating system?" At this juncture, Zhou Yuqin paused and added, "Mr. Ren, I apologize for speaking at length today. Please do not take offense." Ren Jiuzhou earnestly replied, "Mr. Zhou, I believe we will become excellent friends and outstanding partners." Zhou Yuqin responded, "It is my honor." Upon leaving, Ren Jiuzhou learned that Zhou Yuqin was heading to Guangqing and arranged for his driver to take him there. The two locations were only a little over 100 kilometers apart, and soon Zhou Yuqin arrived at the hotel where Shun Shiyan and his team were staying. "Brother-in-law, did my sister mention that she is going to Yindu next Saturday to celebrate my grandfather's birthday?" "She did. Aren't you going?" "I certainly will. While I can disregard the feelings of others, I cannot neglect my mother's." "From your tone, it seems your relationship is not particularly good." "It is anything but good. My grandfather is exceedingly domineering and stubborn. When he was younger, he opposed my parents' marriage. Later, when my parents married and returned to admit their mistakes to him, he refused to relent. And then my father's career flourished, yet my grandfather was unwilling to lend a hand. My father is an orphan without connections, forced to fight alone. Had my grandfather assisted even a little, my father's capabilities would have likely elevated him to a ministerial position by now. Would you not agree that my grandfather is foolish? Indeed, not particularly wise. Brother-in-law, there is one more thing I need to mention. My grandfather once attempted to arrange a match for my sister, the so-called family alliance, which my parents refused. Zhou Yuqin's expression shifted. Who was he introducing? Shen Shiyan shrugged. I forgot the surname. At that time, my grandfather and my 3 uncles called my mother almost daily, and even my eldest uncle made a trip to Yanhai. It was not until my sister became pregnant that they ceased their efforts. This incident further strained our relationship with my grandfather's family. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Fortunately, your parents withstood the pressure. Otherwise, I would not be in the picture. Shen Shiyan nodded. Absolutely. Brother-in-law, I share this with you so that you are forewarned. Do not assume that the Dai family will be on our side. The children of my 3 uncles are not good people, and they may very well attempt to intimidate you. Be cautious not to fall into their traps. Understood. By the way, where will we stay in Yindu? We used to stay in hotels, never at my grandfather's, to avoid discomfort. But now, it seems unnecessary. You have 2 or 3 dozen courtyard houses and villas in Yindu. You can choose any to stay in. You are most familiar with these properties. I leave this matter to you. No problem. I will go 2 days early to prepare the house. Also, brother-in-law, should we buy 2 larger vehicles to keep in the garage to avoid future complications? Let us get a Land Rover and a Maybach, registered under your sister's name. Okay. The process of purchasing property is familiar to everyone by now. The following day, Zhou Yuqin signed the agreement and completed the property certificate, boarding the flight back to Yunhai at 7 in the evening. He chose not to inform Shin Jinyun in advance, wishing to surprise her and little Yaya. At 9 that night, Zhou Yuqin emerged from the airport, pulling along his suitcase. There to greet him was Xian Yunhai. Old Xian, why have you come personally? Zhou Yuqin inquired, surprised. Xian Yunhai replied, I have something to report to you. Let's discuss it on the way. All right. The 2 got into the car, and as they exited the parking lot, Xian Yunhai asked, Mr. Zhou, do you know a martial arts master named Huang Qishan? Zhou Yuqin's heart stirred, the image of Huang Qishan immediately surfacing in his mind. I've met him once. He is the bodyguard and driver of Qin Kuan, the president of the Kunlun Group, and possesses the skill of transformation. Why do you suddenly inquire about him? Xian Yunhai responded. Huang Qishan visited the Kunpeng battery manufacturing plant yesterday and issued a challenge to you. A challenge? Zhou Yuqin couldn't help but chuckle. What era are we in? Why is he still engaging in such antics? Xian Yunhai handed Zhou Yuqin an envelope. He seemed quite serious and clearly regards this matter with utmost importance. Zhou Yuqin took the envelope and glanced at it. The words challenge letter were inscribed in calligraphy. Opening the envelope revealed that Huang Qishan had used the vintage red paper reminiscent of the Republic of China era, with the characters arranged vertically, requiring one to read them from top to bottom. The content of the challenge was straightforward. He wished to spar with Zhou Yuqin at the Kunpeng mobile battery manufacturing plant, with the time to be determined by Zhou Yuqin. I must admit, this is rather amusing. Zhou Yuqin sighed, feeling somewhat exasperated. In today's world, where firearms dominate, martial arts have merely evolved into a means for physical fitness. It was surprising to encounter someone adhering to the archaic customs of the Republic era and issuing a challenge. Huang Qishan was indeed a martial arts enthusiast. Old Xian, did you engage with Huang Qishan? Not just me. My brothers also had to go with him. Zhou Yuqin's expression shifted, a sharp glint in his eyes as he asked, were there injuries? Just minor ones. Everyone will be fine in a couple of days. Huang Qishan went easy on us. How many exchanges did you have? 6 rounds. But from the 2nd round onward, I found myself at a disadvantage. His bagua floating palm is exceedingly swift. I couldn't keep up. Mr. Zhou, you should be cautious. Zhou Yuqin sighed. To be candid, I have no desire to engage in combat with him, as the outcome holds no significance for me. Xian Yunhai remarked, if you do not accept his challenge, he will certainly not relent. He has been waiting at the factory entrance from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon today, presumably for you. Damn it. Zhou Yuqin exclaimed, it seems I cannot avoid this duel. Tell Huang Qishan that I will meet him at the factory tomorrow at 2:30. Mr. Zhou, are you confident? Zhou Yuqin smiled, rest assured. While we both practice the art of transformation, there are levels to it. Huang Qishan is merely a novice in this realm and cannot possibly be my match. With his attributes enhanced through the system, Zhou Yuqin's physique had reached 155, and his mental fortitude stood at 151, far exceeding human limitations. In a contest of sheer strength, even an elephant would be no match for him. With comparable realms but superior stamina, strength, speed, and mental prowess, Huang Qishan had little chance of victory. An hour later, Zhou Yuqin returned home. Daddy, you're finally back. Little Yaya, engrossed in a cartoon, heard the door and rushed barefoot toward Zhou Yuqin. He quickly set down his suitcase, lifted her up, and inquired, Sweetheart, Why are you still awake at this hour? Daddy, Mommy and I have been waiting for you. How did you know I would return tonight? Uncle told us, she replied. Zhou Yuqin sighed, feeling somewhat defeated. I wanted to surprise you both, but now there's no element of surprise left. Little Yaya, with her innocent voice, said, Daddy, you were gone for such a long time. I almost missed you to death. Zhou Yuqin showered her with kisses. Daddy missed you too. Have you been listening to your mother at home? I'm a good girl. Of course, I listened to Mommy very, very well. Shen Jingyun interjected. Is that so? Little Yaya glanced at the smiling Shen Jingyun, bit her lip, seemingly a bit guilty, and exclaimed, yes. With that, she dove back into Zhou Yuqin's embrace. Shen Jingyun couldn't help but chuckle. If you say so. Darling, did you bring a gift for little Yaya? Of course I did. Little Yaya's eyes widened with anticipation. Where is it? Zhou Yuqin pointed to his face. Shouldn't you reward Daddy first? With a flurry of kisses, little Yaya planted several on Zhou Yuqin's face, leaving him drenched in saliva. Zhou Yuqin quickly surrendered. No more kisses. I'll fetch it right away. He set Yaya down on the sofa and retrieved the toys and drawing board he had bought from Guangqing. Shen Jingyun helped Yaya put on her shoes, and she immediately ran over, plopping down on the floor, eagerly inspecting her new treasures. Zhou Yuqin laid everything out, then retreated to Shen Jingyun's side, wrapping his arms around her slender waist, whispering in her ear, Wife, I missed you. A smile graced Shen Jingyun's lips. I missed you too. Their eyes met, and they saw profound affection reflected in each other's gaze. After a shower and changing into pajamas, Zhou Yuqin entered little Yaya's bedroom to lull her to sleep. Perhaps due to his return, little Yaya was especially excited. Zhou Yuqin narrated 3 stories before finally coaxing her into slumber. After tucking the little one in, Zhou Yuqin eagerly dashed into Shen Jingyun's study, only to find it empty. He then made his way to their bedroom, where he found Shen Jingyun reclining gracefully in a qipao, gazing at him with longing. Unable to resist, Zhou Yuqin rushed over. The reunion sparked an intense and passionate encounter. The following morning, Zhou Yuqin awoke from his meditative state. The previous night's escapade could only be described as exhilarating. Shen Jingyun held out for a full hour and a half before conceding. He carefully placed her onto little Yaya's bed, read a book for a while, and then sat cross-legged on the bed to practice Tai Chi visualization techniques. Perhaps due to the surge in his mental prowess to 151, Zhou Yuqin felt incredibly energized. Previously, he needed at least 2 hours of deep sleep to feel refreshed the next day, but now, just an hour sufficed. Dressed in athletic gear, Zhou Yuqin descended and ran 5 kilometers before practicing Tai Chi at a small square. Approximately 20 minutes later, he sensed 2 familiar gazes upon him. Looking up, he was met with the sight of his parents. During Zhou Yuqin's absence in Pingqing and Guangqing, Zhou Qingjian had submitted his resignation to his workplace. He is already in his 50s. Even with the support of Zhou Yuqin and the assistance of Shen Qinggang, he could at most attain the position of deputy county chief and, upon retirement, see only a minimal increase in his pension. However, for Zhou Qingjian, this holds little significance. The money his son casually spends far exceeds any salary increment by thousands of times. Su Xiaowan has not yet traveled to northeast Jiqing. Firstly, the villa she purchased is undergoing simple renovations and will require over half a month before it is ready for occupancy. Secondly, in 10 days, Cheng Tao is getting married. And as his aunt, Su Xiaowan must attend. Dad, Mom, why are you up so early? Zhou Qingjian inquired. Age has caught up with me. I can't sleep. He replied. Xiao Chun, what were you just practicing? It seemed quite impressive. Zhou Yuqin smiled. It's Tai Chi, standing meditation. I learned Tai Chi when I was in Sioux City. Would you like to give it a try? Zhou Qingjian waved his hand, saying, no thanks. I believe the Tai Chi 13 postures suit us better. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback. You're practicing the Tai Chi 13 postures? Zhou Qingjian nodded. Indeed. Your mother and I have been practicing this set with those elderly folks, and we are now at the detoxification stage. Zhou Yuqin gave a thumbs up. Impressive. Su Xiaowan added. Xiao Chun, you should try it as well. It is particularly beneficial. Your father and I feel increasingly invigorated with practice. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. This Tai Chi 13 postures are more suited for the elderly. It may not be as effective for us young ones. Noticing an increasing number of elderly practitioners nearby, Zhou Qingjian said, you can practice at your own pace. Your mother and I will head over there. All right, Zhou Yuqin replied. Zhou Qingjian and Su Xiaowan moved to the back of the group to practice the Tai Chi 13 postures. An elderly gentleman nearby asked, do you know Xiao Zhou? Su Xiaowan smiled. Yes. Do you know him too, Elder Yi? Elder Yi replied, of course. Xiao Zhou is our master. He taught us the Tai Chi 13 postures. Let me tell you, he is a true martial arts expert. Once, when someone entered our community with a gun, they encountered Xiao Zhou and were knocked out in just a few moves. Su Xiaowan remained skeptical. Is he really that formidable? Elder Yi responded, more than formidable. Master Xiao Zhou once demonstrated the secret power of traditional martial arts. He lightly tapped a large watermelon, and while the skin remained intact, the flesh was completely crushed. I witnessed it. It was nothing short of miraculous. By the way, how do you know Master Xiao Zhou? Zhou Qingjian replied, he is our son. Elder Yi exclaimed in surprise. While Zhou Qingjian and Su Xiuan practiced the Tai Chi 13 postures, Zhou Yuqin chose not to continue standing meditation, but instead walked over to observe them. After they completed their routine, Zhou Yuqin said, Dad, Mom, there are a few aspects where your practice could improve. Let me make some adjustments. Elder Yi chuckled. Master Xiao, could you make some adjustments for us too? An elderly person nearby chimed in. Yes, Master Xiao, don't play favorites. Zhou Yuqin explained. Gentlemen, you have already practiced remarkably well. There is no need for adjustments. Just continue to practice diligently, maintain a tranquil disposition, avoid unhealthy eating habits, and living beyond 100 years should pose no problem. Elder Yi said. Then I shall take your words as a blessing. Zhou Yuqin led his parents to the side, correcting a few of their movements and breathing techniques. Zhou Qingjian inquired about the incident involving armed intruders in the community, and Zhou Yuqin provided a brief explanation. Upon learning that the assailants were sent by that scoundrel Luo Hao, who framed their son, the couple expressed their outrage. Upon returning home, Shen Jingyun was practicing Tai Chi standing meditation on the balcony. Zhou Yuqin approached and noticed that her stance had begun to embody the essence of harmonizing yin and yang, silently marveling at her talent for martial arts. Today is Saturday, and Shen Jingyun does not have to work while Xiao Yeye does not have school. Zhou Yuqin took his time preparing breakfast and continued to observe Shen Jingyun's standing meditation. After a while, she pressed her hands down, exhaled a breath of turbid air, and opened her eyes. Darling, when did you return? She asked. I've been back for over 20 minutes, he replied. How do you feel about your Tai Chi standing meditation? Very well. Have you noticed that my strength and spirit have significantly improved? Shen Jingyun nodded. Indeed. I used to find it heavy to flip a bottle of mineral water on the office water dispenser, but just the other day, it felt incredibly light. Zhou Yuqin smiled. This indicates that your meditation practice has reached a significant level. If you persist daily, your strength will grow and your vitality will flourish. At this point, Zhou Yuqin paused, revealing a mischievous glint in his eyes. I was puzzled last night about when your endurance improved so much, managing to last an hour before admitting defeat. Now I see the reason. Shen Jingyun's face flushed crimson as she playfully pinched his waist, scolding, You'd better be quiet. Zhou Yuqin shielded his waist, chuckling, Wife, you should be gentler in the future. That hurts. Shen Jingyun gave him a sidelong glance, retorting, You deserve it. Zhou Yuqin continued, All right, let us discuss something serious. I believe you are ready for a medicinal bath. A medicinal bath? Shen Jingyun blinked in surprise. But I'm not ill. Why would I need one? Zhou Yuqin explained. Since ancient times, medicine and martial arts have been intertwined. Whether external or internal martial arts, there are corresponding medicinal treatments that can promote circulation and strengthen the internal organs. Shen Jingyun asked, What about Zhou Qing? Does she need a medicinal bath? Zhou Yuqin shrugged. That girl will have to wait until summer vacation. Once she starts a medicinal bath, it's best not to interrupt for a month. Shen Jingyun replied, I certainly can't either. We have to go to Yindu next Saturday. Zhou Yuqin nodded. Then we can discuss it later. After breakfast, Zhou Yuqin drove to the Yueqing Game Company to check on the progress of various games. He had to admit that Fang Qingxian's team was indeed experienced in developing large-scale games. Their division of labor was remarkably clear, with each person responsible for a specific aspect, resulting in rapid progress. Projects that lacked technical content but required significant time were all outsourced. Seeing this, Zhou Yuqin immediately called the core members from the other two development teams into the conference room, where Fang Qingxian shared his management experiences. Chapter 358. The generous boss in the president's office of Yueqing Game Company. Zhou Yuqin received 4 game performance reports from Zheng Tong and studied them meticulously. The downloads for God Temple Escapes steadily increased, and due to a price hike abroad, the profits had already exceeded 500 million. A feat made possible by the reputation established by the previous 3 games. Leisure Elimination was impressively performing. After launching a reward event, the number of players purchasing equipment and watching ads had significantly increased, generating astonishing daily revenues of around 20 million, essentially a money-making machine. As for the other 2 games, they had gradually fallen into obscurity, yielding meager profits. Nevertheless, Zhou Yuqin remained confident that they would eventually experience a resurgence. Given the high cost of smartphones, out of the global population of 6 billion, only around 1 billion could afford to purchase and use them. In 2 years, as smartphones became ubiquitous, these classic games would inevitably re-enter the public consciousness. Setting aside the report, Zhou Yuqin inquired, Old Zheng, the new year is just 2 months away. I suspect everyone has begun to anticipate their year-end bonuses. How much do you think our company should distribute? Zheng Tong replied, in the gaming industry. Everyone basically looks up to large firms like Hello Games and IQ Games. Generally speaking, the year-end bonuses from these two companies hover around 20,000, occasionally exceeding that, but never surpassing 25,000. Zhou Yuqin shot him a glance, exasperated. I asked how much we would distribute, not how it compares to other companies. That's a classic case of dodging the question. Zheng Tong tentatively suggested, what if we give them 30,000? Zhou Yuqin waved his hand dismissively. That's too stingy. Although our company has been established for less than 6 months, our profits rival those of a medium to large gaming company. Here's the plan. Every regular employee who has been with us since the inception of the company will receive 66,666 yuan. Others will receive adjustments based on their tenure and position. Zheng Tong gasped. President Zhou, isn't that a bit excessive? Based on the 66,666 yuan standard, just the year-end bonuses alone would cost at least 40 million, which is practically throwing money around. Zhou Yuqin waved his hand again. That's not all. We'll allocate 8 million for a lottery event, featuring a grand prize, 6 second prizes, 10 third prizes, and 200 to 300 consolation prizes, ensuring that no one walks away empty-handed. We'll leave the details to the office to finalize before the holiday. Zheng Tong exclaimed. President Zhou, you are remarkably generous. Having been in the gaming industry for 20 years, this is the first time I've encountered such a benevolent boss. However, considering Zhou Yuqin's usual approach to bonuses, it seems this is merely his standard operation. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. It said that employees share a common fate with the company. But how do we share that fate? Relying solely on ideological work won't suffice. The most crucial aspect is to let everyone see the money and understand that only when the company makes substantial profits can individuals reap their own rewards. Zheng Tong nodded. You are correct. President Zhou, when will the company break for the holidays? Zhou Yuqin replied. We'll stagger the holidays. Each person gets 15 days. How you arrange it is up to you. Zheng Tong laughed. If this news gets out, people are bound to go wild. Zhou Yuqin remarked. We'll discuss that closer to the holiday. My only requirement is to ensure the games operate smoothly while accommodating everyone as much as possible. After all, it's not easy for everyone to be away from home. Zheng Tong acknowledged, understood. Zhou Yuqin then asked, Old Zheng, why are the brothers in the RD department not resting today, being Saturday? Zheng Tong explained, they are adjusting their schedules according to their own plans. For instance, if someone has matters to attend to on Wednesday, they will work an extra day on Saturday or Sunday to compensate. If others wish to return home and need 3 or 4 days, they'll work 2 extra days and combine their leave. My thought is, as long as it doesn't affect normal operations or the game development timeline, they can manage it as they see fit. After a moment of contemplation, Zhou Yuqin decided that this approach was acceptable and said nothing further. Zheng Tong breathed a sigh of relief. Upon leaving Moonlight Games, Zhou Yuqin returned to his residential complex, taking Shen Jingyun and Xiao Yeye to his parents' home for lunch. After a hearty meal, Zhou Qingjin remarked, Xiao Chun, I heard from Jingyun that your villa is ready. Do you have time this afternoon for your mother and me to take a look? Zhou Yuqin glanced at his watch and replied, Dad, there are some matters at the Kunpeng battery factory that I need to handle. How about Jingyun takes you over first, and I'll join you at the villa once I'm done? Zhou Qingjin responded, then perhaps we should wait until later. Shen Jingyun chimed in, Uncle, I feel as if you're treating me like an outsider. Zhou Qingjin hurriedly replied, I didn't mean it that way. Su Xiaowan retorted, the implication of your words is clear. It's fine for your son to take you, but not for your daughter-in-law. Isn't that treating her like an outsider? Zhou Qingjin was momentarily at a loss for words. Su Xiaowan disdainfully continued, what do you mean by what? After working in government for a lifetime, your words can still be misconstrued. It's no wonder you haven't risen to higher leadership. She added, this afternoon, whether you want to go or not, I'm definitely going with Jingyun and Xiaoyu. Zhou Yuqin laughed. Mom, please don't pick on Dad. Su Xiaowan replied, I'm just frustrated that he speaks without thinking. Shen Jingyun quickly interjected, Annie, I was merely joking with Uncle. Zhou Qingjin defended, exactly. Just a joke. And your aunt takes it so seriously. It's truly absurd. Zhou Yuqin stood up and said, I must take my leave now. Drive safely. Zhou Qingjin waved, understood. You may go. An hour later, Zhou Yuqin arrived at the Kunpeng mobile battery manufacturing plant. Upon entering the security office, he found Huang Qishan already there, seated and resting his eyes. You arrived quite early, Zhou Yuqin noted, as he had scheduled their meeting for 2:30, and it was just 2 minutes before that time. Huang Qishan seemed to sense Zhou Yuqin's arrival, immediately opened his eyes, stood, and greeted, Master Zhou, it's been a long time. Referring to Zhou Yuqin as master instead of president was laden with implicit meaning. Zhou Yuqin smiled. Master Huang, you appear even more formidable than before. Huang Qishan replied solemnly. Since our first meeting, I have practiced martial arts daily, aiming to spar with you. You must understand that at our level of martial arts, Finding a worthy opponent is exceedingly rare. In today's world, traditional martial arts have long since declined. With a population of 1.6 billion, the number of true practitioners likely totals only 20 to 30,000. Among them, those who can cultivate inner strength are fewer than 200. And those who reach the level of transformation are probably fewer than 20. The odds of such masters encountering each other are incredibly slim. Zhou Yuqin and Huang Qishan meeting in this vast sea of humanity was indeed remarkable fortune. Zhou Yuqin stated, "Master Huang, let us dispense with the pleasantries and head to the training ground." Huang Qishan agreed, and the two made their way to the training area, standing opposite each other. Over 40 security personnel from Kunpeng Manufacturing, except those with mandatory tasks, had gathered to witness the event. Xin Yanhai volunteered as a referee, asking, "Are you both ready?" Zhou Yuqin and Huang Qishan nodded in unison. Xin Yanhai declared, "Let the match begin." With a thunderous shout, Huang Qishan launched himself forward, his movements swift and agile, akin to a darting fish. Zhou Yuqin remained composed, his stance steady, left palm forward and right palm back, breathing steady, as if he were one with the surrounding environment. Impressive. Observing Huang Qishan's peculiar yet rapid footwork, Zhou Yuqin silently praised him. As Huang Qishan approached, his right hand sliced through the air like a blade, aiming directly at Zhou Yuqin's throat with an astonishing speed. Zhou Yuqin, unfazed, gently lifted his left hand as if brushing away a feather, striking precisely at Huang Qishan's wrist. What incredible speed! What formidable strength! Huang Qishan felt a sudden flash before his eyes, and a wave of numbness surged through his wrist. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he instinctively stepped back and assumed a defensive stance. Ha! Zhou Yuqin erupted in laughter, transforming his palm into a fist, pivoting on his elbow, and unleashing a powerful strike. The art of Taiji, known for its gentle practice, manifests incredible strength in combat. Zhou Yuqin concentrated his vital energy in his arm, causing his right limb to swell, becoming thicker than a child's thigh. His robust arm, akin to a steel whip, cut through the air with a fierce whoosh, aimed directly at Huang Qishan. "My goodness, how ferocious!" murmured the onlookers, astounded by the sheer force that seemed to shatter the very air. With gritted teeth, Huang Qishan braced himself against Zhou Yuqin's whip-like strike, feeling a tremendous shock ripple through him, his face turning crimson as the force dispersed his own energy. Despite their comparable martial prowess in the realm of transforming energy, it was evident that Zhou Yuqin's strength and speed far surpassed Huang Qishan's. The disparity was akin to that between an adult and a mere child. Not pursuing further aggression, Zhou Yuqin retreated 3 steps, clasped his fists in respect, and stated, "Master Huang, I concede." A single move determined the victor. Huang Qishan stared blankly at Zhou Yuqin, disbelief evident in his eyes. After a prolonged silence, he finally managed a bitter smile, confessing, "I have practiced martial arts since childhood, and after breaking through in prison, I believed no one could rival me. Meeting Master Zhou has shown me how limited my perspective was. I was merely a frog in a well, blinded by my own arrogance." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Master Huang, do not belittle yourself. You are the strongest individual I have encountered, surely among the top 20 in the world." Huang Qishan inquired, "What about you? Where do you rank?" Shrugging, Zhou Yuqin responded, "In pure martial prowess, I doubt anyone could withstand even 10 of my strikes." Had anyone else made such a claim, Huang Qishan would have dismissed it as mere boasting. However, after experiencing Zhou Yuqin's might firsthand, he found the assertion plausible. Realizing that even he, a practitioner of transformative energy, could not endure a single blow from Zhou Yuqin, let alone 10. Huang Qishan remarked, "You must not have used your full strength just now, right?" Zhou Yuqin nodded, 60%. Huang Qishan fell into a state of despondency, fully aware that he would never be able to best Zhou Yuqin. An hour later, reeling from the blow to his pride, he returned to the headquarters of the Kunlun Group, his expression devoid of emotion. Approaching the president's office, he entered without knocking. Qin Kuan, immersed in paperwork, was about to express his frustration when he looked up to see Huang Qishan, and instantly, his anger dissipated, replaced by surprise and confusion. Despite their brotherly bond over the years, Huang Qishan had always adhered to company decorum. Today, he had never seen him so unhinged. "Old Huang, what's wrong?" Huang Qishan numbly replied, "I went to challenge Zhou Yuqin to a duel." Qin Kuan chuckled. "He must not have agreed, right? That's quite normal. I told you, Zhou Yuqin is a billionaire. He wouldn't entertain a match with you." Huang Qishan stated, "We've already fought." Qin Kuan froze. "You lost?" Huang Qishan nodded in affirmation. Qin Kuan smiled gently. "Victory and defeat are commonplace in battle. You can always win next time." Huang Qishan uttered 2 words, "One punch." Qin Kuan's smile abruptly faltered. Convinced he must have misheard, "What did you say?" Huang Qishan declared, "Zhou Yuqin defeated me with a single punch." And what is more terrifying is that he only used 60% of his strength. How is that even possible? Qin Kuan exclaimed in disbelief. No one understood the extent of Huang Qishan's martial prowess better than Qin Kuan. In the early days of the Kunlun group, when faced with numerous competitors' underhanded tactics, Huang Qishan had single-handedly vanquished over 20 burly men wielding machetes. He had encountered many formidable fighters, yet none stood a chance against him. Without Huang Qishan, Qin Kuan would not have survived. The thought that such a formidable individual could be bested by a mere 60% of someone else's strength was beyond Qin Kuan's comprehension. Huang Qishan implored, "Brother, do you think I would fabricate such a humiliating tale?" Qin Kuan pursed his lips. "Is this man even human?" Sighing, Huang Qishan replied, "Zhou Yuchen's strength, speed, and reflexes appear to surpass human limits. Even if Bodhidharma were to be resurrected, or Zhang Sanfeng were alive, they would likely not measure up to him." Qin Kuan reassured him, "It's all right. We are in the real estate business. He is in tech. There is no real competition. Even if there were, this is a lawful era. No one would foolishly revert to past vendettas. Moreover, he is a billionaire." Huang Qishan countered, "I'm not suggesting Zhou Yuchen is dangerous. I'm just struggling to process this." Qin Kuan patted him on the shoulder. "There is no need to dwell on this matter." Huang Qishan nodded. "I'll go rest in my office for a while." Qin Kuan acknowledged, "Go ahead." Chapter 360. First obtain a certificate, then marry. After Huang Qishan departed, Qin Kuan's phone rang. Upon checking, it was a call from Qin Yuyu. "Dad, are you busy?" "Not busy. What is up, my little girl? Are you short on cash, or is there something else?" "Dad, have you met Shiyan?" "Yes. I don't believe he is a suitable match for you. A couple of days ago, he suffered significant losses in the financial market. If it weren't for Zhou Yuchen, he wouldn't have had a chance to recover. I know about Shiyan's losses. He is just too impatient. Impatience indicates emotional instability and a poor mindset. Yuyu, if you want Shiyan to be my son-in-law, I can tell you unequivocally, it won't happen. He can't pass my test. But you can't give him no chance at all, can you? I have no fixed standards. It depends on his performance." "Dad, you're so annoying. I'm done talking to you." After hanging up, Qin Kuan sighed, a frown etched on his face. He couldn't fathom what made Shiyan so appealing to his daughter. The production and sales of Kunping's mobile phone batteries had entered a stable phase. According to the finance department's report, after deducting all costs, including taxes, Kunping Group could earn around 15 yuan from each battery. Over the next 6 months, the number of orders received by Kunping Group was 5 billion, yielding a staggering profit of 75 billion. The most alarming aspect was that as smartphones evolve, the number of orders would only increase, provided there were no competitors. Kunping Group's annual revenue would exceed 150 billion, even 200 billion. This was nothing short of blatant profiteering. After spending an hour at the Kunping mobile battery manufacturing plant, Zhou Yuchen drove to the Fengsong Villa community. Villa number 15 had been completed 2 weeks prior. Zhou Yuchen had inspected it once and was exceedingly pleased with the renovation. Zhou Qingjian and Su Xiuwan had already arrived. Accompanied by Shen Jingyun, they toured the premises, expressing their admiration. Having spent their entire lives in the county, they had never encountered such a magnificent villa. Su Xiuwan inquired, "Jingyun, when do you plan to move in?" Shen Jingyun remarked that although we use the finest eco-friendly materials for our renovation, the air quality still exceeds acceptable levels. It is estimated that we will have to wait 3 to 4 months before the air quality is suitable for us to move in. Su Xiuwan furrowed her brow and said, "According to your plan, you intend to hold your wedding on the lawn here. Does that mean you want to be able to marry until 3 or 4 months from now?" Shen Jingyun smiled and replied, "Auntie, it's just a matter of 3 to 4 months. We can wait." Su Xiuwan responded, "I cannot afford to wait. What if you run away? Where would I find such a wonderful daughter-in-law?" Shen Jingyun linked her arm with Su Xiuwan's and said, "With such a wonderful mother-in-law as you, I wouldn't dream of going anywhere." Zhou Qingjian interjected, "Let me suggest that you and Xiaochen can obtain your marriage certificate first before the wedding." Su Xiuwan's eyes lit up as she exclaimed, "Exactly. Old Zhou, that is the most agreeable suggestion you have made today. Jingyun, you should first acquire your marriage certificate to become a legal couple, and then hold the wedding 3 months later when you move into the villa. What do you think?" Shen Jingyun replied, "In truth, the way Yu Chun and I are currently living together is hardly different from being married." Su Xiuwan replied, "How can that be? As long as you don't have a marriage certificate, you are nothing in the eyes of the law. Jingyun, you don't have any objections to Yu Chun, do you?" Shen Jingyun said, "None at all. As long as Yu Chun agrees, I have no issues." Su Xiuwan joyfully declared, "That is wonderful." Just then, Zhou Yuchen walked in, smiling as he asked, "Mom, what has you in such high spirits?" Su Xiuwan asked, "Xiaochen, you want to be on a business trip the day after tomorrow, will you?" Zhou Yuchen shook his head and replied, "I'll be at home all next week." "Why?" Su Xiuwan said, "There is a significant matter that you must attend to promptly." Zhou Yuchen laughed, "Mom, just get to the point already." Su Xiaowan declared. Take Jingyun to the marriage registration office to register your marriage. What? Zhou Yuqin exclaimed in surprise. Zhou Qingjin admonished. What do you mean by what? Jingyun has given you a little angel, and you have been together for such a long time. Shouldn't you provide Jingyun with some assurance? Or do you have doubts? Zhou Yuqin, bewildered, said, How could I have doubts? I just didn't expect it to be so urgent. Honey, do you agree? Shen Jingyun replied, I agree. Zhou Yuqin said, As long as you have no objections, it will be easy to arrange. Tomorrow, we will go to Xiao Yeya's grandparents and inform them of this matter. If they do not oppose, we will go to obtain the marriage certificate next Monday. As for the wedding, we can hold it once the villa is ready for occupancy. Shen Jingyun nodded and said, All right. Zhou Qingjian felt it was somewhat inappropriate and remarked, Have we forgotten about the betrothal gifts? Su Xiaowan slapped her forehead and said, How could I forget? Let us invite Brother Shun and his wife for dinner tomorrow, so we can discuss this together. Shen Jingyun interjected, Auntie, there's no need to go through all that trouble. Su Xiaowan insisted, This is a matter of courtesy. It is essential. By the way, I should call your mother. As Su Xiaowan spoke, she took out her phone and dialed Daiwan's number. Soon, Daiwan's voice came through. Xiaowan, is there good news you wish to share with me? Zhou Yuqin, Shen Jingyun, and Zhou Qingjian all turned to look at Su Xiaowan. Su Xiaowan thought to herself that this was not good and quickly covered the receiver, stepping outside. Zhou Yuqin smiled. Without a doubt, this must be something your mom and my mom have already agreed upon behind our backs. Shen Jingyun nodded and said, Let us not let them overthink it. We'll go to get the certificate the day after tomorrow. Zhou Yuqin agreed. All right. After a while, Su Xiaowan returned, her face beaming with joy. Jingyun, your mother has agreed to you obtaining your marriage certificate before the wedding. As for the betrothal gifts, we can discuss that before the ceremony. Shen Jingyun nodded and said, Okay, Auntie, I understand. Su Xiaowan took her hand and said, Once you have obtained the certificate, you can start calling me Mom. Zhou Yuqin asked, Have you prepared the renaming fee? Su Xiaowan replied, Of course, it is a necessity. Zhou Yuqin displayed a peculiar expression and said, Mom, to be honest, were you not planning this all along? Su Xiaowan retorted, How could that be? This idea just came to me today. Zhou Yuqin helplessly remarked, You just keep insisting. Chapter 361. Becoming true spouses. Meanwhile, after finishing her call with Su Xiaowan, Daiwan wore a radiant smile. Shen Xingang, who was reading on the sofa, looked up at Daiwan and said, I just overheard you discussing the betrothal gifts with your future mother-in-law. Does this mean Xiao Zhou and Jingyun are preparing to marry? Daiwan explained the couple's intention to obtain their marriage certificate first before holding the wedding. Shen Chenggang smiled and asked, Did you and your future mother-in-law discuss this beforehand? Daiwan replied, We only discussed it last night. I didn't expect her to act so decisively, and the news reached us today. Are you against them getting the marriage certificate? Shen Chenggang replied, Not at all. I just find it a bit sudden. Daiwan retorted, Do you think everyone is as composed as you? You should know how exceptional Xiao Zhou is. Once he is out in society, countless women will be vying for his attention. Your daughter has already been living with him for quite some time and has a 4-year-old Xiao Yeye. If they don't hurry to obtain the marriage certificate, I will be quite concerned. So you mentioned the marriage registration to your future mother-in-law? Daiwan replied, It was her suggestion, and I simply agreed. That is for the best. What about the betrothal gifts? Daiwan waved her hand dismissively. That is inconsequential. When Xiao Zhou got engaged, he gifted Jingyun a ring worth $10 million. When the stones were deceived, he also covered over $2 billion in debts. Altogether, that is over $3 billion. How could I possibly ask for anything? By the way, could you call and have someone at the marriage registration office work overtime tomorrow? Sure. As the 6th high-ranking official of Yinhai City, it was unnecessary for Shen Chenggang to handle such trivial matters personally. He called his secretary, Tang Hua, explained the situation, and Tang Hua promptly contacted his classmate working at the marriage registration office. Upon learning that the daughter and son-in-law of the 6th high-ranking official were coming to register their marriage, the other party agreed without hesitation. Daiwan relayed this news to Su Xiaowan, who knew that Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun were accompanying Xiao Yeye to watch an animated film in a theater and could not take the call. So she sent Zhou Yuqin a text message. Zhou Yuqin replied with a simple received. Wife, tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Someone will be at the marriage registration office to assist us with our marriage certificate. Zhou Yuqin whispered in Shen Jingyun's ear. Shen Jingyun nodded and said, It must be my dad who arranged this. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Having a father-in-law in a high position certainly makes things convenient. Shen Jingyun shot him a look and said, From the way you're talking, it sounds like you're only marrying me for my father's influence. Zhou Yuqin replied, Not at all. How could you think that? Is my behavior tonight not enough to demonstrate how much I love you? Shen Jingyun playfully pinched his thigh, expressing her displeasure. Stop flirting in front of our daughter. After watching the movie, the family of 3 strolled through a supermarket for a while before finally heading home. Late at night, Shen Jingyun lay in Zhou Yuqin's embrace. too tired to even move her fingers. Wife, after we obtain the certificate tomorrow, you will truly be aboard my ship, and disembarking may become difficult in the future. Shen Jingyun, breathing heavily, replied, if the ship only carries me and Xiaoye, I certainly want to disembark. But if others join us on the ship, we shall see if I still choose to stay. Zhou Yuqin smiled gently and remarked, your statement is incorrect. With our efforts, the ship will undoubtedly welcome several little ones. My aspiration is 6. It is an auspicious number. Shen Jingyun opened her mouth and playfully nibbled on Zhou Yuqin, saying, do you take me for a pig? Zhou Yuqin replied, I am indeed a pig dedicated to rooting for you. With that, Zhou Yuqin made another move. No, Shen Jingyun exclaimed, her heart racing in fear. The following morning, Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun took little Yaya to the Yunhai Municipal Government Community. Shen Qinggang had gone to a meeting at the government, leaving only Daiwan at home. Upon seeing the family of 3 enter, Daiwan picked up little Yaya and smiled at the couple, saying, the household registration book is on the coffee table. You two hurry back. Lunch will be ready at home. Zhou Yuqin jokingly asked, Aunt Dai, have you prepared the red envelope? I shall be addressing you differently upon my return. Daiwan chuckled at his words, responding, you, a billionaire, still fussing over a mere red envelope? Zhou Yuqin explained, it's the significance that differs. Daiwan laughed. Rest assured, it is already prepared. Shen Jingyun picked up the household registration book from the coffee table and placed it in her bag, saying, yeah, be sure to listen to Grandma at home. Daddy and I will step out for a bit and return shortly, understood? Little Yaya nodded, responding, understood. Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun departed the community and arrived at the marriage registration office. Tang Hua's classmate, Shen Lang, who was 32 years old and bore the same name as the protagonist from a Gulong novel, was the deputy director of the marriage registration office. Concerned about being late and keeping the daughter and son-in-law of a high-ranking official waiting, he arrived half an hour early. Director Shen, I appreciate your assistance today, Zhou Yuqin said, extending his hand upon entering the office. Shen Lang shook Zhou Yuqin's hand with a smile, saying, it's a small matter. 5 minutes later, Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun received their marriage certificate. Legally, they had become a true couple. Shen Lang smiled, Mr. Zhou, Miss Shen, I wish you both a happy marriage and a lifetime of harmony. Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun exchanged glances and replied in unison, thank you. When they returned home, they encountered Shen Shiyan downstairs. Did you just return from Guangqing? Zhou Yuqin asked as he took a suitcase from him. Indeed. Brother-in-law, you guys got your certificate. Shen Shiyan exclaimed, gazing at the 2 red books in Shen Jingyun's hands. Zhou Yuqin replied proudly, correct. These marriage certificates are fresh off the press. Shen Shiyan sighed, saying, my sister has yet to escape your clutches. Zhou Yuqin clapped him on the shoulder, correcting, your metaphor is lacking. Have you ever seen such a handsome son, Yukong? With a chuckle, Shen Jingyun could not help but laugh, her smile akin to a blooming flower, strikingly beautiful. Not only Zhou Yuqin, but even Shen Shiyan felt that his sister was breathtakingly exquisite. The 3 entered the house, where they found Shen Qinggang holding little Yaya, watching cartoons, while Daiwan was busy in the kitchen. Upon hearing the commotion, Daiwan immediately came out, asking, did you get the marriage certificate? Shen Jingyun waved the certificate in her hand, saying, we did. Chapter 362. A change of address. Daiwan took the marriage certificate to examine it, joyfully exclaiming, truly a match made in heaven. Shen Shiyan scoffed, Mom, are you sure the photos here don't depict a beauty and a beast? Daiwan playfully swatted him, chiding, stop spouting nonsense in front of me. Shen Shiyan sighed, lamenting, it seems I am quite unfortunate. Just returned from out of town, and you and Dad haven't even uttered a word of concern. Truly, it seems new lovers forget the old. Shen Qinggang replied sternly, would you like me to express concern for you? Shen Shiyan shivered and chuckled, no need. We are all grown men, it's unnecessary. Zhou Yuqin asked, shouldn't I be serving tea? Shen Jingyun replied, I'll brew the tea. Shen Shiyan, puzzled, inquired, what is the tea for? Daiwan shot him a glare, ignoring his question. 10 minutes later, Shen Qinggang and Daiwan sat down. Zhou Yuqin knelt before them, presenting a cup of tea, saying, Dad, please enjoy this tea. All right. Shen Qinggang took the tea, sipped it without a word, and handed Zhou Yuqin an envelope. Thank you, Dad. Zhou Yuqin accepted the envelope and offered Daiwan a cup of tea. Daiwan took a sip and handed Zhou Yuqin another envelope, saying, I hope you and Jingyun can respect and love each other, supporting one another in happiness for a lifetime. Zhou Yuqin earnestly replied, Mom, rest assured. I will treat Jingyun well and ensure she never suffers a bit of grievance. Daiwan smiled, I believe in you. Now please rise. As Zhou Yuqin stood up, little Yaya, puzzled, asked, Daddy, why did you kneel? Did you do something wrong? Zhou Yuqin explained, it is a form of etiquette. Little Yaya, with bright eyes, eagerly asked, if I do the same, can I also receive 2 big red envelopes? Zhou Yuqin chuckled, What do you need the red envelopes for? Little Yaya pouted, saying, because there's money inside, and I can buy so many tomato crispy corners. Tomato crispy corners were a favorite snack among children, devoid of nutrition. Since trying them once, little Yaya had not forgotten them. Shin Jingyan was quite averse to such junk food, allowing her to have only 2 packs a week. Zhou Yuchen ruffled her hair, saying, sweetheart, even if you have lots of money, Mommy won't let you eat those. But Daddy can make them for you. Little Yaya's eyes sparkled. Daddy, can you really make tomato crispy corners? Zhou Yuchen laughed. Of course. This afternoon, I will make some for you. Little Yaya cheered. That's wonderful. I can eat tomato crispy corners. Shin Jingyan softly asked, darling, can you really make them? Zhou Yuchen replied, absolutely. Culinary skills are such that once you grasp the fundamentals, you can create anything. Just let me taste it once, and I can probably replicate it. Shin Jingyan gave him a thumbs up, saying, impressive. With their marriage certificate in hand, Zhou Yuchen was truly welcomed as a son-in-law of the Shin family. Shin Qinggang, while maintaining a composed exterior, was genuinely pleased. During dinner, he brought out a bottle of Wulianya, pouring a glass for Zhou Yuchen and Shin Shiyan, and they began to drink. After a few rounds of drinks and dishes, Shin Qinggang suddenly remarked, Yuchen, your predictions regarding real estate are remarkably accurate. As they had become family, both Shin Qinggang and Dai Wan began addressing Zhou Yuchen more warmly, dropping the Xiao Zhou in favor of Yuchen. Zhou Yuchen raised an eyebrow, saying, Dad, if it's government confidential, it's best you don't tell me. Shin Qinggang waved his hand, saying, it's not a secret. It will be announced on Monday. Yunhai will implement purchase restrictions. Shin Shiyan exclaimed, so soon? What about Yindu, Guangqing and Pengcheng? Are they also going to impose restrictions? Shin Qinggang nodded, saying yes. The 4 first-tier cities in Xia country will simultaneously enforce purchase restrictions on Monday. Properties prior to this are exempt. From now on, each family can only purchase 2 units, and there are even stipulations regarding their locations. For instance, in Yunhai, if you already own a property within the 3rd ring road, your second purchase must be beyond the 4th ring road. Daiwan remarked, if that is the case, then housing prices are bound to rise again. Shin Shiyan responded, indeed. Brother-in-law, your nearly 100 properties are all within the 3rd ring road. It seems you are about to witness a surge. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. I had thought the purchase restrictions would be implemented in half a year or a year, but it appears they are starting much sooner than anticipated. Shiyan, I must thank you for this. If it weren't for your team's efficiency, I would not have been able to acquire so many properties. Allow me to toast to you. Hearing this, Shin Shiyan felt a surge of pride and quickly raised his glass, saying, brother-in-law, please don't mention it. I should be the one thanking you for giving me this opportunity to hone my skills. The two clinked their glasses and downed their drinks. Shin Qinggang and Dai Wan exchanged a glance, both wearing smiles of satisfaction. Zhou Yuchen set down his glass and said, Shiyan, after we celebrate the old man's birthday on Saturday, you will be busy again. Shin Shiyan inquired, is it about forming the trading team? Zhou Yuchen confirmed, yes, including you. There will be a total of 8 members. Along with the overseas team, that makes around 15. Shin Shiyan asked, brother-in-law, are you certain that the Lighthouse Nation will experience a financial crisis? Zhou Yuchen nodded, saying, I have been closely monitoring the tech and real estate stocks in the Lighthouse Nation. Even the worst performing stocks have risen by over 20%, which is highly abnormal. Reminiscent of a frantic last gasp. I predict that the tech and real estate bubbles are nearing their peak, and once they burst, it will cascade down like a waterfall. Shin Shiyan remarked, to recruit 15 traders, you must be investing a considerable amount, correct? Zhou Yuchen affirmed, $2.5 billion, with a 10-fold leverage. At this revelation, Shin Shiyan was left astounded. Shin Qinggang, Dai Wan, and Shin Jingyun were equally taken aback. Zhou Yuchen intended to leverage $250 billion to short the stock market of the Lighthouse Nation. It was nothing short of terrifying. A single misstep could lead to disaster. Shin Shiyan swallowed hard and asked, brother-in-law, weren't you planning to use $1.5 billion with a 5-fold leverage? How did it change to $2.5 billion with a 10-fold leverage? Zhou Yuchen smiled, because I have complete confidence in my analysis. Initially, I intended to engage in a prolonged battle, but the longer it drags on, the more it might attract the attention of certain capital sharks. Hence, I plan for a swift resolution to extricate myself within 2 weeks. When the time is right, I will reverse my position to go long. Shiyan, your task is to find a reliable brokerage firm to secure 10-fold leverage and manage $150 billion to short the American stock market. As for when to execute this, just await my command. Chapter 363. Shin Qinggang's advice. Hearing Zhou Yuchen's words, Shin Qinggang could barely contain himself, saying, Yuchen, is this not too hasty? Does Shiyan possess that level of skill? Shin Shiyan replied helplessly, Dad, you underestimate your son too much. I have previously earned over 100 million. Zhou Yuchen stated, all commands will come from me. Shiyan will only be responsible for leading the team in execution. After a moment of contemplation, Shun Shiyan asked, brother-in-law, may I invest a share? Zhou Yuchen raised an eyebrow. Do you still have funds? Shun Shiyan sheepishly replied. After being forcibly liquidated last time, I still have just over 10 million left. Zhou Yuchen nodded. That is acceptable. However, do not let your personal funds interfere with my larger endeavors. Shun Shiyan assured. That is certain. Rest assured, I will not operate my little sum independently. Shin Shingang raised his glass, saying, as for what you all are about to undertake, I am unfamiliar with it, but I can only wish you success. Zhou Yuchen and Shun Shiyan exchanged glances, raised their glasses in a toast to Shin Shingang, and said in unison, thank you, Dad. After a satisfying meal, Zhou Yuchen inquired of Dai Wan regarding gifts for the old man's birthday. Mom, what do you think would be an appropriate gift for Dad? Dai Wan pondered. Given my father's lifetime of service, perhaps you could compose a bold and grand calligraphy piece, such as drinking Songornian Nu Jiao, a nostalgic reflection on red cliffs. Zhou Yuchen nodded. Certainly. There is one more thing you should be mindful of, Dai Wan added after a moment's hesitation, carefully choosing her words. You should avoid excessive involvement with the children of the Dai family, particularly in business matters. Zhou Yuchen paused, asking, what type of businesses are they engaged in? Dai Wan replied, foreign trade and investment. Zhou Yuchen's expression turned understanding. I see. Shen Jingyun's uncle holds the position of deputy director at the Ministry of Commerce in Xia Country, and it is clear their children benefit from that connection. Dai Wan's desire to distance herself from them was evidently a means to avoid entanglement in murky waters. Shun Qinggang advised, Yuchen, the business you are currently engaged in is already quite substantial, far beyond the imagination of the average person. With your abilities, you are destined to become a prominent figure in Xia Country's business world. So do not allow the allure of wealth to cloud your judgment and lead you to engage in improper conduct, lest you regret it in the future. After over 2 decades in the police service, Shin Qinggang had witnessed far too many business tycoons fall from their lofty heights to become prisoners. All due to one word, greed. Despite possessing fortunes that could last several lifetimes, they still chose to take risks in pursuit of more wealth, ultimately leading to their own downfall. The talent and capability Zhou Yuchen exhibited in the business realm were unparalleled in Shun Qinggang's experience. He genuinely wished to prevent Zhou Yuchen from treading the same path as those others. Zhou Yuchen responded, Dad, I understand better than anyone that money is merely a means, not an end. Initially, I earned money to change my fate and improve the lives of my family. Now, it is different. I have moved past that stage. My current goal in earning is to assist Xia Country in breaking the technological blockade imposed by the Lighthouse Nation and to change people's lives as much as possible. It is absolutely impossible for me to compromise my morals and engage in unethical or illegal activities for the sake of money. You can rest assured on this matter. Shin Qinggang nodded. It is wonderful that you think this way. In the afternoon, Zhou Yuchen and Shun Jingyun returned to Lijiang Garden with little Yeya. Upon seeing the 2 marriage certificates in hand, Su Xiuwan was overjoyed, beaming with happiness. Mimicking Zhou Yuchen, Shun Jingyun knelt on the ground, offering a cup of tea to Zhou Qingjian and Su Xiuwan, addressing them as Mom and Dad. Su Xiuwan was so moved that she shed tears on the spot. After dinner, the family went for a stroll. Shun Jingyun received a call from Wu Li, the host of Women of the World at Yunhai TV. Ms. Wu, I have already made my stance clear. I will not accept an interview. Apologies, it is not about the money. I am not in need of funds. I simply enjoy creating, but I do not wish to become a public figure. After hanging up, Shun Jingyun wore an expression of helplessness. Zhou Yuchen inquired, does Yunhai TV want you to participate in a program? As of today, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone has sold over 230,000 copies abroad, becoming the most popular fantasy novel in the West, attracting the attention of the literary world and television stations. Investigations revealed that the author of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was a Xian national named Shin Jingyun. Consequently, major television stations began reaching out to Shin Jingyun, inviting her to participate in interview programs, including the esteemed host Wu Li from Yunhai TV. Shun Jingyun remarked, in just 3 days, I've received over 10 invitation calls. It's becoming quite overwhelming. Su Xiuwan chuckled. I came across several articles online stating that Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is the most beloved fantasy novel in the Lighthouse Nation over the past 2 decades. Jingyun, you are truly remarkable. Shin Jingyun pointed to Zhou Yuchen and said, Mom, all the credit goes to him. The entire concept of the story originated from him, and the outstanding results are largely due to his relentless promotion. My role was merely to organize and refine the content. Su Xiuwan replied, little you merely provided you with the raw materials. Whether or not you can create a finished product that everyone adores depends on your level of refinement. Clearly, your refining skills are exceptionally high. Otherwise, such impressive sales would not have been achieved. Zhou Yuchen gave a thumbs up and remarked, Mom, You truly are an exceptional language teacher. Your assessment is remarkably insightful. Shin Jingyun said, Mom, your compliments are making me blush. At that moment, another call came in. Shin Jingyun glanced at her phone and sighed. It's Mango TV. Zhou Yuchen suggested. I think you should consider changing your phone number. Shin Jingyun sighed. Changing it would be futile. They can easily trace me. Soon, Shin Jingyun used the same script to dismiss Mango TV. Little did she know that less than 10 minutes later, another television station called. After answering, she promptly turned off her phone, restoring some peace to her world. In the lobby of a 5-star hotel in Yunhai City, the lights shone brightly. The annual gathering of the Summer Nation Calligraphy Association was taking place here. In essence, this gathering was merely a platform for individuals to showcase their calligraphy works. Participants would display their finest creations or notable pieces they had acquired for others to admire and critique. Chapter 364, Calligraphy Association. The Summer Nation Calligraphy Association boasts over 600 members, but only 120 were qualified to participate in the gathering. Wu Jinhua was among them. However, his skills ranked at the bottom of the group. His inclusion was primarily due to his status, as his son held a ministerial position. Wu Jinhua was well aware of this reality and had not attended the event in the past 3 years. This gathering was hosted in Yunhai, and as one of the hosts, he found it difficult to refuse. President Xiao Wangde took the stage first to deliver a speech. Following that, everyone began to display their calligraphy works, hanging them on the walls. Old Wu, is this short song really your work? Xiao Wangde, renowned as the foremost calligrapher in the Summer Nation, nearly gasped in astonishment upon seeing Wu Jinhua's piece. The flow is as graceful as flowing water, and the form is both distinct and continuous. This calligraphy can only be described as a masterpiece. Wu Jinhua, filled with pride, replied, as they say, one should view a scholar differently after 3 days apart. Especially since it has been 3 years since we last met. Chao Lao, this piece of mine is not inferior to yours, is it? Xiao Wangde's gaze remained fixated on the short song as he said, this work surpasses my own by more than a notch. Those around them, hearing Xiao Wangde's words, turned their attention to Wu Jinhua's short song. What a fine piece. The strokes dance effortlessly, showcasing elegance and fluidity. Remarkable. This is nothing short of a masterwork. No, it should be termed a grandmaster's creation. Wait, is that an inscription at the back? It belongs to old Wu. This short song is indeed his. How can this be? The crowd buzzed with excitement. Wu Jinhua's lips curled into a satisfied smile, reveling in the moment. Finally, he felt a sense of vindication. Xiao Wangde meticulously examined each character before exclaiming once more, the strokes flow like water, and the execution is natural and effortless. This piece is truly exceptional. Wu Jinhua replied modestly, you flatter me, Xiao Lao. Xiao Wangde rolled his eyes and quipped, Old Wu, it's not that I underestimate you. If this were truly your work, why would I, Xiao Wangde, need to follow your lead? Wu Jinhua pointed to the inscription below and declared, this is my seal. How could it not be my work? Vice President Yuan Xiangting chuckled, Old Wu, spare us the bravado. Such a piece, not just you, but even our entire calligraphy association could not produce. Come on, tell us. How did you come to know such a master calligrapher who allowed you to seal your name beneath his work? Clearly, your relationship is extraordinary. Wu Jinhua retorted, Old Yuan. Tell me, who in the entire Summer Nation could produce such a piece? Yuan Xiangting pondered, is it Old Zhu? Xiao Wangde replied, Old Zhu has been in seclusion, and he excels in wild cursive. He could never produce such a regular script. Yuan Xiangting then suggested several other esteemed calligraphers, all of whom were dismissed by Xiao Wangde. Wu Jinhua laughed heartily. So what do you think? I told you, this is a piece I specifically wrote for my son, yet you all refuse to believe me. Xiao Wangde said, Old Wu, if that is the case, then you must demonstrate your skills here and now. Wu Jinhua understood what Xiao Wangde meant, and hastily replied. To create this piece, the right time, place, and people were all essential. Previously, it was merely a stroke of genius. Where could I replicate it now? Xiao Wangde chuckled. Calligraphy is about technique and artistic conception. The environment may alter the piece's essence, but the technique remains unchanged. Yuan Xiangting concurred exactly. Old Wu, we shall only assess the technique, not the artistic conception. Wu Jinhua shrugged. All right, I knew I couldn't fool you all. I was merely joking earlier. Xiao Wangde pressed. Whose masterpiece is this? Wu Jinhua disclosed a name, Zhou Yuchen. Zhou Yuchen? The crowd furrowed their brows, unable to recall anyone by that name in the realm of calligraphy. Yuan Xiangting urged, Old Wu, stop keeping us in suspense. Please enlighten us about this Zhou Yuchen. Who is he, and how did he suddenly appear? Is he perhaps a pseudonym for some calligraphy master? Wu Jinhua raised an eyebrow and said, Zhou Yuchen is my most esteemed student. Recently, he dined with me and gifted me a piece he had created. It was only a handful of characters, yet it left me in awe. Yuan Xiangting interjected. So you had your student write this short song on the spot, and then shamelessly stamped your seal upon it? Wu Jinhua retorted, what do you mean by shameless? This was agreed upon by my student. Chao Wangda inquired, how old is Zhou Yuqin this year? From whom did he learn calligraphy? Wu Jinhua feigned a sigh and replied, he is 25 years old, having practiced in Sioux City for 3 or 4 years. Upon hearing this, the crowd erupted in disbelief. Impossible. After 3 years apart. Old Wu's talent for exaggeration has certainly grown. Indeed, at 25, after only 3 years of practice, he has become a calligraphy master? What an international joke. If this is true, why should I bother practicing calligraphy? I might as well find a place to hang myself. Despite the crowd's reactions, Wu Jinhua remained composed. He had anticipated their responses, recalling that he had reacted similarly upon first encountering Zhou Yuqin's calligraphy. If it were not for Zhou Yuqin's live demonstration of a piece titled Short Song, Wu Jinhua would still find it hard to believe that such a genius exists in the world. Chao Wangda observed Wu Jinhua's expression, feeling a profound shock, and asked, Old Wu, are you serious? Wu Jinhua replied, absolutely true. This student of mine was the top scorer in the college entrance examination of Xinjiang province. Upon entering Yuhai University, he completed 4 years of specialized courses in just a year and a half. I intended to have Yuqin take my graduate entrance examination 2 years early, but unexpectedly, he was framed and imprisoned for a year. To evade his enemies, he stayed in Sioux City for 4 years after his release. In pursuit of personal growth, Yuqin began to study semi-cursive script, and this piece represents the culmination of over 3 years of his efforts. Chao Wangda glanced at Short Song once more. Disbelief etched on his face, exclaiming, a talent descended from the heavens. Yuan Xiangting, equally astonished, remarked, could it be that Zhou Yuqin is the reincarnation of Wang Shiji? Wu Jinhua sighed. If this child were indeed Wang Shiji reincarnated, he would surely dedicate himself to the study of calligraphy. Unfortunately, he merely dabbles in it for leisure. Chapter 365. The arrival of Zhou Yuqin. At this, the entire venue fell silent. The thought that one could achieve master-level calligraphy merely by playing around left these professionals feeling utterly dejected. Reflecting on their decades of diligent practice, they felt tears welling up as they compared themselves to someone who casually practiced for 2 to 3 years. Yuan Xiangting forced a bitter smile, saying, truly, one can only feel inferior when comparing oneself to others. Old Wu, how about selling me this piece? I'll offer 500,000. I'll go for 600,000. I'll raise it to 700,000. As someone who also practices semi-cursive script, I'll offer 800,000. Upon hearing Yuan Xiangting's bid, others snapped back to reality and began calling out their offers. Wu Jinhua waved his hand, saying, I'm sorry, everyone. This piece was a gift from my student, and I truly cannot sell it. Chao Wangda interjected, Old Wu, I can offer 1 million to request a piece from Mr. Zhou. Wu Jinhua replied, Old Chao, my student is not only a genius in calligraphy, but also an exceptional talent in business. He amassed a fortune exceeding 100 billion in just 6 months. Attempting to purchase his calligraphy with money is simply impossible. Furthermore, he has stated that his works are gifts, not for sale, as he believes that once his calligraphy is tied to money, he may no longer be able to capture that fluid essence. Chao Wangda praised, well said. Anyway, a director of the Calligraphy Association felt a spark of realization and pulled out his phone to check, saying, Old Wu, is your student Zhou Yuqin the president of Yueqin Game Company and Kunping Group? Wu Jinhua nodded, indeed. Old Yan, how did you know? Yanwei chuckled. Because my son is the manager of a mobile battery manufacturing plant, currently producing for him. Yuan Xiangting suggested, Old Wu, why not invite Mr. Zhou to join our gathering? Wu Jinhua hesitated, then said, I shall inquire. When Zhou Yuqin received Wu Jinhua's invitation to the Calligraphy Association's gathering, he agreed without a moment's thought. Firstly, it was a matter of honoring his teacher. It was not merely because Wu Jinhua's son was the mayor of Yuhai City, but rather a desire to repay Wu Jinhua for his guidance. Secondly, meeting these prominent figures in the Calligraphy Association could only benefit Zhou Yuqin. Despite their seemingly carefree demeanor, many of them had substantial backgrounds. For instance, the president, Chao Wangda, had a brother who was a high-ranking official in the government. Half an hour later, Zhou Yuqin arrived at the venue. Upon seeing him enter, Wu Jinhua felt a swell of pride and approached him, saying, Yuqin, allow me to introduce you to Mr. Chao Wangda, the president of the Calligraphy Association and recognized as the foremost calligrapher in the nation. No, Chao Wangda quickly waved his hand. In the presence of Mr. Zhou's semi-cursive script, I cannot dare to claim such a title. Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, Old Chao, you are overly modest. While practicing, I often browse your works online. By the way, you and the others are my seniors. Please just call me Xiao Zhou. The title Mr. Zhou feels somewhat daunting. Chao Wangda was momentarily taken aback. A glimmer of appreciation in his eyes. He had expected Zhou Yuqin, having achieved such success at a young age, would exhibit some arrogance typical of youth. Instead, this young man radiated humility and composure, which endeared him to Xiao Wangde even more. Very well, I shall take the liberty of addressing you as Xiao Zhou. How did you cultivate your calligraphy? At this question, everyone perked up, eager to listen. Zhou Yuqin replied, I have been through some challenging experiences that left me feeling troubled. I thought to alleviate my feelings through practicing calligraphy. I casually purchased some practice books from a bookstore and noticed that most were semi-cursive script. So I began to practice from them. After about 2 years, I felt my semi-cursive script had improved enough. So I searched online for works by ancient calligraphy masters to study, and thus, I inadvertently arrived at my current style. Yuan Xiangting, unconvinced, pressed. But you never apprenticed under anyone? Zhou Yuqin shook his head. I had to work during the day and only practiced calligraphy in my spare time at night. I neither had the money to seek a master nor the time to learn. Yuan Xiangting was left speechless. Xiao Wangde asked Xiao Zhou, could you create a piece for us on the spot? Zhou Yuqin smiled. Of course, that is not a problem. After 10 minutes, with ink, brush, paper, and inkstone prepared, Zhou Yuqin picked up the brush, dipped it in ink, and asked, what shall I write? Xiao Wangde replied, write whatever you wish. Yuan Xiangting interjected, preferably something of substantial length. Zhou Yuqin contemplated and said, then I shall write Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection, as I often practice with this piece. The Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection, consisting of 153 characters, is a late work by the ancient calligraphy master Huang Tingjian, esteemed as one of the top 10 semi-cursive scripts in the calligraphy world. Yuan Xiangting exclaimed, that couldn't be better. Zhou Yuqin took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and adjusted his emotions. After about 2 minutes, feeling that he was in the right state, he opened his eyes and began to write. For a full 20 minutes, he wrote continuously without pause, completing the Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection in one go. Finally, as he finished the last character, Zhou Yuqin set down his brush and let out a long sigh of relief. Excellent piece. Xiao Wangde stepped forward, gazing at the written work on the table, unable to suppress a gasp of astonishment. The modern evaluation of Huang Tingjian's Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection describes it as having an ethereal spirit, with sweeping strokes and rhythmic undulations. A flow of elegance. However, Zhou Yuqin's rendition of the Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection presented a completely different ambience. If one were to use idioms to describe it, it could be likened to a continuous flow of brushwork, a smooth and resonant spirit, graceful and natural. Xiao Wangde instructed for the Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection to be hung up. As everyone beheld it, they erupted in ceaseless admiration. Truly magnificent. The essence of mountains and rivers is palpable. I have seen hundreds of pieces of semi-cursive script by modern calligraphers, and this one is the finest, bar none. This is undoubtedly a master-level creation. They marveled at the fact that such exquisite calligraphy could emerge from the hands of a mere 25-year-old. After examining the Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Collection, Wu Jianhua felt it surpassed his own short song, and thus said, Yuqin, please gift me this piece. Zhou Yuqin held no regard for the calligraphy piece and was about to acquiesce when Xiao Wangde interjected, saying, Old Wu, this is rather excessive, isn't it? Yuan Xiangting added, Indeed, Old Wu, you cannot claim Xiao Zhou's calligraphic work simply because he is your student. Others echoed their sentiments in agreement. Chapter 366. Exchange of works. Wu Jianhua sensed he had incurred the collective ire of the group and hastily remarked, I was merely speaking out of turn. Xiao Lao, how do you intend to handle this piece? After a moment of contemplation, Xiao Wangde responded, Xiao Zhou, your teacher mentioned that you do not sell your calligraphy? Zhou Yuqin smiled and replied, I lack for money and do not wish for my work to be tainted by the scent of commerce, save for charitable endeavors. Xiao Wangde raised an eyebrow, saying, that simplifies matters. Let us auction this Songfeng Pavilion Poetry manuscript here. The highest bidder shall claim it. And all proceeds will be donated to the Summer Country Red Cross. What do you think, Xiao Zhou? Zhou Yuqin glanced at Wu Jianhua, who chuckled, Don't look at me. The decision lies with you. Zhou Yuqin consented, Very well, let us proceed as Xiao Lao suggests. Without hesitation, Yuan Xiangting called out, I bid 1 million. Xiao Wangde frowned. Old Yuan, why would a master of cursive script purchase a work in regular script? Yuan Xiangting raised an eyebrow. I have been practicing regular script lately. This piece would serve perfectly as a model. Xiao Wangde retorted, That excuse hardly holds water. I bid 120,000, 130,000, 131,000, 135,000. The bidding intensified among the wealthy calligraphers. Ultimately, Zhou Yuqin's Songfeng Pavilion Poetry manuscript was acquired by a director named Wang Yu for 1,800,000, approximately 12,000 per character. Even Zhou Yuqin was taken aback. Few could command such a price in the market. Though his calligraphy was indeed commendable, his notoriety was virtually non-existent, fitting the description of being an undiscovered talent. The crux of the matter lay in the gathering of over 100 calligraphers, all of whom praised the Songfing Pavilion poetry manuscript, and with the proceeds destined for charity. The price reached 1,800,000. Nonetheless, the paramount significance was that Zhou Yuqian would rise to fame overnight due to this incident. Even if his calligraphy could not fetch such a lofty price thereafter, it would certainly not fall far below. Chao Wangda, cunning as ever, proposed a trade, his work in regular script for one of Zhou Yuqian's in semi-cursive script. Zhou Yuqian thought it fitting to gift Chao Wangda's piece to Shun Jingyun's grandfather as a birthday tribute and readily agreed. Both crafted their versions of Li Bai's Song of the Wine, one grand and bold, the other ethereal and natural, earning accolades from all present calligraphers. Upon returning home, it was already midnight. Shun Jingyun had been engrossed in revising Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Half a month prior, she had completed the novel, and this was her second round of edits. Upon hearing the commotion, she emerged from her study. "Darling, what do you have in your hands?" Zhou Yuqian replied. "This is a piece of Song of the Wine personally written by the esteemed calligrapher Chao Wangda. I intend to gift it to your grandfather. What do you think?" "That sounds wonderful. Why would Mr. Chao write for you?" "He appreciates my semi-cursive script, so we each penned a Song of the Wine and exchanged them. By the way, your husband is now a director of the Summer Country Calligraphy Association. Should I congratulate you?" "No rush. I haven't finished yet. Dear, do you know how much my Songfing Pavilion poetry manuscript sold for?" Given your smug expression, it must have fetched 70 or 80 million, right? 180 million. How is that possible? Shun Jingyun gasped. Zhou Yuqian embraced her slender waist, saying, "Nothing is impossible. Today, we received our marriage certificate. We are officially husband and wife. Shouldn't we celebrate?" Shun Jingyun inquired. "How shall we celebrate?" Zhou Yuqian flashed a mischievous grin. "What do you think?" Shun Jingyun kissed him on the cheek, saying, "Sorry, darling. My relatives have arrived." On Friday morning, Zhou Yuqian, along with Daiwan, took a flight to Yindu. Upon exiting the airport, Shun Shiyan, who had arrived 3 days earlier, greeted them warmly. "Mom, sister, brother-in-law, and little Yaya, welcome to the heart of our nation, Yindu." Daiwan shot him a glance, saying, "I grew up in Yindu. I don't need your welcome." Shun Shiyan pouted. "Mom, you truly lack a sense of humor." Zhou Yuqian remarked, "Shiyan, thank you for your efforts these past few days." After settling in Yindu, Shun Shiyan had chosen a newly renovated courtyard house and arranged for housekeeping, as well as purchasing a series of essentials. He also bought a Land Rover and a Maybach, placing both vehicles under Shun Jingyun's name. Shun Shiyan chuckled. "These are merely trifles. Let us be off." Everyone climbed into the Maybach, and Shun Shiyan slowly drove out of the airport. Along the way, he said, "Brother-in-law, I have good news. Following the government's issuance of purchase restrictions, Yindu's real estate prices have skyrocketed, particularly for courtyard houses. The increase has been astounding." Zhou Yuqian asked, "How do you know this?" Shun Shiyan replied, "To buy a house, I've been in touch with numerous agents. They are all asking if I wish to sell the courtyard house, as its value has risen by 30%. Shun Jingyun exclaimed, "To have risen so much in just a month is truly alarming." Zhou Yuqian added, "If the lighthouse nation experiences a financial crisis, the increase in property prices will be even more staggering." Shun Shiyan stated, "Brother-in-law, the property you purchased for over 130 million, I estimate will yield you over 100 billion within a year." Daiwan marveled. "Yuqian, you are truly remarkable." Zhou Yuqian replied, "The credit goes to Shiyan for his diligence and speed. Had we delayed, it would have been impossible to purchase anything." Shun Shiyan asked, "Brother-in-law, when will you reward me?" Previously, Zhou Yuqian had promised to absolve Shun Shiyan of 50 million in debt and grant him an additional 50 million as a bonus. Over this period, Shun Shiyan had spent approximately 860,000 on real estate research. By their agreement, Zhou Yuqian owed him the remaining 41,400,000. Zhou Yuqian said, "When we return to Yunhai, I will transfer 50 million into your account." Shun Shiyan was taken aback. "Brother-in-law, wasn't it 41 million? Zhou Yuqian chuckled. "You have performed exceptionally well, so I will cover that extra 800,000. Shun Shiyan gave a thumbs up. "Brother-in-law, you are generous. Just as in the previous life, Yindu could be deemed the most congested city in all of Summer Country. Even outside of rush hour, a 30-kilometer journey took an hour and a half, culminating in their vehicle stopping before a courtyard house by the back sea. Chapter 367. The design of the courtyard house. Upon exiting the car, Shun Shiyan remarked, "Brother-in-law, this is your courtyard house. While not the largest, it spans 450 square meters. The primary reason for its selection is its modern decor, allowing for immediate occupancy." Zhou Yuqian, carrying a suitcase, said, "Then please, as the chief steward, do introduce it to us." Shun Shiyan remarked, "If you were to gift me a courtyard residence, even the grand eunuch could manage it." Shun Jingyun retorted, "I believe you've fallen into a pit of materialism." Little Yaya, perplexed, inquired, "Mom, What is a grand eunuch? Shen Jingyun shot a fierce glare at Zhou Yuchen and said, ask your father. I'm not sure myself. Zhou Yuchen, stealing himself, explained, they were the attendants of the emperor in ancient times. Little Yaya responded, are they eunuchs? Zhou Yuchen was taken aback and asked, how do you know about eunuchs? Little Yaya replied, in kindergarten, many kids say they want to turn others into eunuchs during arguments. Does uncle want to be a eunuch too? Shen Shiyan nearly choked, exclaiming, your father and uncle are merely joking. Zhou Yuchen added, sweetheart, please refrain from using the term eunuch. It is quite unpleasant and impolite. Do you understand? Little Yaya inquired, then why did you make uncle a eunuch? Zhou Yuchen was left speechless, conceding, father was wrong. I shouldn't have made such a joke with your uncle. Daiwan observed Zhou Yuchen's humility in admitting his mistake to the child, a glimmer of admiration flickering in her eyes. As they pushed open the vermilion gate of the courtyard, a wall adorned with blooming flowers greeted them, separating them from the clamor of the outside world. Passing through the wall, the courtyard revealed itself in all its splendor. The main house stood tall and imposing, showcasing an ancient yet grand architectural style with its flying eaves and brackets. The east and west wings were neatly arranged on either side, complementing the main structure. The courtyard center featured a blue brick paved ground, exuding a sense of antiquity and warmth, steeped in historical resonance. The overall design reflected the Su family's garden style, with rockeries, flowing water, and lush greenery, creating an exceptionally comfortable atmosphere, meticulously crafted. Daiwan instantly fell in love with the place, exclaiming, what a classic and elegant courtyard. Shun Shiyan chuckled, mother, while the exterior of this courtyard appears simple and elegant, the interior is equipped with modern amenities, including a luxurious dining room, an art studio, a game room, and KTV, among others. If I could live here, I would gladly sacrifice 10 years of my life. Zhou Yuchen shot him a sidelong glance, saying, once you own a courtyard like this in the future, you may not feel the same. Shen Shiyan replied, I cannot afford it. This courtyard was purchased for 360 million. It is likely worth 500 million now. A courtyard in the second ring is not something that can be bought simply with wealth. Zhou Yuchen turned to Shen Jingyun, asking, dear, what do you think? Shen Jingyun nodded, it feels quite nice, more poetic than our villa in Yunhai. Zhou Yuchen smiled, then let us keep this courtyard. It will be a place for our family and guests to stay in Yindu. Shen Jingyun agreed, all right. Shen Shiyan smirked, thinking to himself, a courtyard worth over 500 million is merely a place to rest. How fortunate it is to be wealthy. After a brief tidying up of their luggage, the family set out for lunch. Shen Shiyan led them to the Quanjude roast duck restaurant. A tall waitress dressed in a qipao promptly welcomed them. Welcome to Quanjude. How may I assist you? Shen Shiyan replied, I have reserved a Rui private room. Certainly, please follow me. The waitress guided them into the private dining area. The room was spacious, accommodating 12 people, and was lavishly decorated. The waitress handed the menu to Shen Shiyan, who immediately passed it to Zhou Yuchen. Whoever orders pays. He thought, knowing Zhou Yuchen, the wealthy man, would cover the bill. Zhou Yuchen glanced at the menu, asking, Mom, you must have come here often before? Daiwan nodded. Indeed. Zhou Yuchen placed the menu before her, stating, I'll just have 2 roasted ducks. You can choose the rest. Daiwan didn't hesitate, immediately ordering 8 dishes, including spicy duck hearts, mustard duck feet, salted duck liver, tea emperor shrimp, Australian beef, grilled meat, steamed grouper, and blackfish soup. After taking note, the waitress gave Daiwan a thumbs up, saying, Auntie, you have exquisite taste. These dishes receive the best feedback from customers. Daiwan smiled, please make it quick. Of course. The waitress replied, exiting the room. Daiwan suggested, after we finish eating, let us visit your grandfather. Shen Jingyun and Shen Shiyan exchanged glances and nodded in agreement. All right. Daiwan looked at Zhou Yuchen, saying, Yuchen, if the old man makes any inappropriate remarks, please bear with it. She was clearly preparing him for potential conflict. Zhou Yuchen replied, understood. Mom, does grandfather have a significant issue with me? Daiwan sighed. Years ago, your grandfather wanted Jingyun to marry into a prominent family in Yindu, but your father and I disagreed. Later, when Jingyun became pregnant, your grandfather felt immense shame. It's easy to imagine his feelings towards you. Zhou Yuchen reassured her. Don't worry, Mom. I will speak less to avoid displeasing grandfather. The roast duck at Quanjude was quite commendable, with little Yaya enjoying it thoroughly. However, the other dishes were rather mediocre. Little Yaya sampled each briefly before losing interest. After their meal, the family returned home to collect gifts before heading to Dai's residence. Shun Jingyun's grandfather, Dai Wanling, lived in a military compound, guarded by soldiers standing watch around the clock. Upon arrival, Daiwan called Dai Wanling for permission to enter, which was granted only after the guards received confirmation. The military compound consisted entirely of 2-story buildings, lined up neatly next to each other. Each building had a modest yard in front, some adorned with flowers, others with vegetable patches. Shen Shiyan appeared quite familiar with the area after 3 left turns. They arrived at the entrance of the 16th courtyard. After placing the gifts down, Shen Shiyan searched for parking, while Daiwan led Zhou Yuqin and their child inside. "Dad, I'm back," Daiwan called out. An elderly man with white hair and a slender frame, dressed in a somewhat worn military uniform, stood like a spear in the yard, admiring 3 plum trees. As December approached, the weather in Yindu was significantly colder than in previous